Losing time, I'm fading fast. I just wanna make it last. Try to let go of the past. I close my eyes, embrace the blast. Sleepless nights and headaches stack. Restlessness to hell and back. What's my purpose? What do I grab? A slippery surface, a heart attack. And sometimes you just gotta believe there's something that'll give you relief. There's something that'll have what you need. What you need. We're broken, it's tragic. We're not all elastic, but maybe there's magic. Believe you could have it. And I know of sadness, the anxious and panic, the infinite vastness of all that is blackness.
Hey guys, how you going? Oh, what a week. What a week it's been. There's a lot of news. It's, oh my God, it's all coming out now. I've also got news, I think. I don't know. I got another email saying that I did not get the house. But it's from the same email address that sent it to me last time. So I don't know. And I rang them the other day and they said they're still making their decision. So I'm going to assume I don't have it. And then if I get it, it's going to be a great surprise. That's all I've got to say on that. And if I didn't get it, there's something better around the corner. There always is. So when one door closes, another door opens. So just always remember that no matter what happens, you know. Menacing Muskrat, how you going? How's your husband? I hope he's all right. Menacing Muskrat. Hey, Fun Adventure from Florida. Carol, how you going? David, how you going? Deb, how you going? Oh, thank you, Deb. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Alex, how you going? Faith, how you going? Who else we got? Canadian Girl, how you going? Carol, Eyes, how you going? And Carl Anthony. And who else? And Nursing Muskrat's there. How's your husband? I hope he's doing good. Okay, let's get into this news. Just let me move things around here. There's a lot. I don't even think I'm going to be able to cover most of it, but I'll try. My week this week, I spent the week, I had an inspection on Monday, a rental inspection to make sure you're not burning the house down or putting holes in walls and things like that. Yeah, and I just went a bit berserk with the spring cleaning. So the house is nice and clean. And the lawns are very short, nice and mowed. And then I had what happened first? No, the internet went out for about 24 hours. And when the internet come on about an hour later, the power went out. So I've had a bit of a week. I've been trying to get on, but it's not happening. It wasn't happening. Okay, Beard Vet said Hunter's laptop, and this is, I don't know, allegedly, I have not seen proof of this, but we'll see what happens. Hunter's laptop has emails of him trying to hire a bouncer at a bar he frequented to kill someone, allegedly. Who's this person? Is this a serious person? I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, which way am I going? This way or that way? I'm halfway down the page of what I've been sharing. Okay, this was on the 5th of December. Just in, Moore County Sheriff says reports of the power grid being attacked are connected to a local drag show are incorrect. There's no evidence, the sheriff said. So there was an attack on the power grid. They tried to blame, I don't know, MAGA or something, and there's no evidence. They're doing it again. You know, more of those false little wavy things. Okay, I won't go into that. I'm sure most people have already seen this. Biden on the border.
State and not visit the border. Because there's a more important thing going on. They're going to invest billions of dollars in a new enterprise. State and not.
What, in him? He's an idiot. Gee. I won't read that one. It's just... Jesse Kelly said a disturbing number of world leaders believe the earth is overpopulated. Follow this to its logical conclusion. So a disturbing number of world leaders who are leading the way down the garden path are they believe in the world is overpopulated, and it's not. Okay, this one. Pretty sure I just broke Chat GPT, just like a typical left-wing NPC. It can't handle the cognitive dissonance of the trans ideology. What is a woman? He asked it. A woman is an adult female human being. Is Rachel Levine, who is a federal official at the US Department of Health and Human Services, a woman? Yes, Rachel Levine is a woman. But you just said a woman is an adult female human being. Rachel Levine is a biologically male. How is Rachel Levine a woman then? Well, an error occurred. If this issue persists, please contact us through our help centre. Yeah, just throw up an error when you can't answer a question. Good one, AI. Rage Against the... I like this. I like the name of them. The army has invaded Favelas of Rio de Janeiro and killed top leaders of the Commando Vermelho, Red Command drug cartel, which supports the communist criminal Luiz, I can't say this, Inacio Lula da Silva. Observers take this to indicate the beginning of federal military intervention. Now, where's this? In Rio de Janeiro. Okay, so I don't know if things are happening. It sure looks that way. Let me...
No aeroporto Santos Dumont, dia 3 de dezembro de 2022. Não sei o que é isso aqui não, nunca vi isso não. Vambora. Aí. É tanque.
So there you go. I don't know whether that's true or not, but it's being reported that, and there's uprisings all over the world as well at the moment. Jack Posobiec said the NYRC was founded to fight back against the likes of Tammany Hall and Boss Tweed. Only a historical illiterate would not know that includes fair elections. Great job, Gavin, keeping the party true to tradition. Gavin Mario Wax, the latest hit piece on the NYYRC by Grace Bedelek purposely and maliciously edited our original 1912 mission statement to remove mention of election integrity. Funny how it was a big deal even back then, and add modern woke progressive language. Article, to develop sound principle and public spirit in party politics by promoting equality, fairness, critical thought, and the efficient criticism of the conduct of government and its leaders. Reality, to develop sound principle and public spirit in party politics to promote honest and fair electoral methods to the end that the expression of the popular will by whatever party or body shall be as free, untrammeled, and equal as possible. This is blatant historical revisionism on the part of the Young Voices org and Grace Bedelek, editing our mission statement from 110 years ago to better suit your hit piece's terrible thesis. Pathetic, sad, lowly. Issue a retraction and revision, Grace. Full NYYRC mission statement from February 19th, 1912, to promote and maintain the principles of the Republican Party, to foster within the Republican Party and make practical in service of the municipality, state and nation the idealism characteristic of youth, to correct in our own party that tendency of all parties to make organisation an end rather than a means, to develop sound principle and public spirit in party politics, to promote honest and fair electoral methods to the end that the expression of popular will by whatever party or body shall be as free, untrammelled and equal as possible, to resist and expose political corruption, to advocate merit rather than partisan services entitling to public office, to watch legislation and to encourage public attention to and efficiently criticise the conduct of government. So they've been changing things, apparently. Josephine Cashman said the police believe Bill Shorten. Okay, how can I put this? I don't know if I'm allowed to say this on YouTube. Great. Kathy's sheriff, that's why they arrested him and collected as many statements from witnesses totaling 1,600 pages. There's medical collaboration. That's unheard of in historical child cases of sexual assault. The evidence has been hidden from the public. Why? My name is Kathy Sheriff. This truthfully accounts the most traumatising and debilitating experience of my life. During and after being attacked when I became a volunteer with the Australian Labor Party from the age of 15 till I was 17. The attack, I froze, I couldn't speak. Okay, I don't know if I want to read this. Everything seemed so surreal. It couldn't be happening. Before I knew it, Shorten had his hands on each of the front of my shoulders, pushing me backwards. The bathroom door was to my left, only a couple of metres from the front door. I was being pushed backwards into the bathroom by Shorten, who seemed to be calculated, certain and confident of where he wanted me. Once metres from the door to my left, I was pushed backward, and to Shorten's right was the cabin bathroom. He pushed me inside the bathroom and somehow closed the door. By this time, I was starting to fight him off. Thinking back now, if I hadn't had such a domineering and narcissistic mother who always complained about any noise or me having the light on at night while I read a book because it was keeping her awake, my mother still does this to this day, I may have had the instinct to scream, but I wasn't raised that way. People were sleeping and I was raised to keep quiet and respectful of those around me. And I was stunned, in shock, disbelieving. I would have screamed anyway. In fact, I did, but anyway, not the same. Not this. But I would scream anyway. But anyway, I was finding it hard to absorb the reality of what was really happening. Bill Shorten was supposed to be my friend. Only dirty old men or desperate uncles behave like this. He pushed me up against the bathroom wall. I could feel something sticking into my back, but I didn't have the time to think about that. I had to fight him off. Shorten never tried to kiss me. He didn't try to touch my breasts. Shorten never said a word. Shorten just kept trying to pull down my pants. I was wearing ribbed leggings. They weren't like lycra spandex, not at all tight-fitting. They fit more like sweats or tracksuit pants. I think I had bed socks on. They were either pink or light blue with black pixie boots. I was wearing a very long shirt that came down to my thighs at the back and front. And over my shirt, I wore a large, long, thick, hand-knitted jumper which was long enough to cover my bottom completely. My biggest concern was that the pants I was wearing had an elastic waist. As he kept pulling at my pants, I kept trying to push him away. I also tried to kick at him, but this thing in my back stopped me from being able to raise my legs. What was the thing in the back? My arms were beginning to ache and I could feel my strength fading, then suddenly Shorten backed off. He pulled away from me. Finally, he must have got the hint I didn't want him. But as I looked more closely, I saw he was unbuckling the belt to his pants. Shorten was wearing either a green or brown loose-fitting corduroy jeans. I saw his pants drop quickly to the floor. The fight wasn't over. As I continued to try and get him off me, he seemed to get stronger and I felt my strength weaken. My arms were hurting so much they seemed to be burning. I felt him winning the battle as he was gaining control over my pants and underwear, pulling them down bit by bit. Oh, dear God. Shorten didn't get them down far. They were still at the top of my legs, but before long he was pushing himself up against me and using his feet to kick my legs apart. He moved in close, and before I knew it, he was huffing and puffing. I didn't really feel much, but I knew he had inserted, okay. He didn't penetrate it for very long, shortened climax very quickly. It only lasted a few seconds, but once he was done, he moved back away from me quickly, began to pull up his pants. I remember the way my hands were shaking. I bent from one side to the other to reach for my underwear and pants. I had not intended to read all this, I don't think, not on live. He hadn't pulled them down far enough to me to have to bend down. They were still in arm's reach, and he was buckling his belt. He said something like, "Gee, you do get around." Shorten then left the bathroom and my cabin. The prosecutor is now Judge John Cain Jr., son of Labor Premier and Shorten's former employer. The police officer said the prosecutor didn't even bother to read further than the front page of the brief of evidence, deciding to dismiss Shorten's charges in less than 30 seconds. Why is Albanese's Labor Party protecting people like this? The media knows why they're ignoring Kathy, treating her with contempt like her life does not matter. The corporate media is controlled, and our political class must be replaced with everyday honest Australians. This is our only hope. Oh, dear God, I didn't expect to read that. I forgot that was in there. Kim.com said, allegedly, the US government created Al-Qaeda and turned it into a contract army to fight Russia and Afghanistan. Then the US supported neo-Nazis in Ukraine to provoke a war with Russia. All of this to prevent Russia from becoming a peer competitor with the help of Germany. Now, where are we now? Mongolia. Protesters are tearing down the gates of the government palace. So Mongolia's rising. Rage Against the you-know-what said Secret Service caught changing story about the Hunter Biden documents. Judicial Watch reported the United States Secret Service repeatedly changes its position on whether it's in possession of records related to Hunter Biden's laptop. The Secret Service claimed in the course of Judicial Watch FOIA lawsuit that there were no records about the alleged something. I don't know, you can read it. Slow it down if you have to. Oh, dear God, there's too much to go over, guys. Anyway, Judicial Watch filed a federal lawsuit for records about how the Secret Service intervened for Hunter Biden in the alleged gun incident. There's more than just gun and drugs in there. And you'll see shortly, I've got a picture. Rep Jim Jordan said FBI agent Timothy Thibault tried to shut down an avenue of the Hunter Biden investigation. Then Twitter hires former FBI General Counsel James Baker, who helps give the company an excuse to suppress the story. Coordination? Much? What they won't tell you about giant trees, right? These are all they look like mountains. They're trees,
Education doesn't tell you about giant trees.
Oh. Anyway, it goes on like this, and what I want to know is who cut those flat ones down? Who cut the flat ones? Who did that? They look like they're cut. Look, it looks like it's cut. Like it's not ripped up by the roots and pulled out of the ground. That would look much different than it does. Well, the ones with the flat tops. Hey, flat top. And I asked, who cut the flat ones down? Okay, according to reports, $12.8 billion worth of coal was misappropriated by officials. Okay, where's this at? Okay, where's that? Flag of Mongolia. Okay, that's good. Okay, we know it's Mongolia. So according to reports, $12.8 billion worth of coal was misappropriated. Where do we have here? Protesters stormed the government palace in Mongolia again. Okay, that was me. Sherry said, corruption is the real epidemic. Now, the reason I put in here was that's what Operation Warp Speed was about, showing everyone. It wasn't even about he did say way back, he said the media are the virus and the people are the. So that's why I'm waiting to hear what, when Trump mentions vaccines, I'm waiting to hear more because I do believe he's not meaning a normal one. Nick Adams, Alpha Male, said America needs more rural polling locations and fewer urban locations. Should be easier for farmers to vote. And it should be, because they're the one, honestly, when the city votes, it affects the farmers. A man of memes said Obama was the beginning of the end of America. Most of us know that. Well, it's actually debatable whether it started before then. BLM did not start under Trump. It started under Obama. The war on police didn't start under Trump. It started under Obama. This racial tension did not start under Trump. It started under Obama. Obama emboldened this hate through his administration, and now we're paying the cost, and that's Michaela J. Then you've got an inspirational talk. I agree with this message. Do we want to hear this? Let's.
Yeah, I get that. But listen, you go ahead and rest, because you earned it. But don't quit.
I think I've played this before, and there's music in the background, so I don't really want to. He's just giving you an inspirational, I'll see you on down the road. If you need to rest, take a rest during this journey. It's a long journey. Okay. Nancy's drunk. Nancy's very drunk.
Let us say a special thank you to the Capitol Police Ceremonial Unit and the Metropolitan Police Honor Guard for the presentation and retiring of the colors. We gather here exactly 23 months ago. Our nation suffered the most staggering assault on democracy since the Civil War. January 6th was a day of horror and heartbreak, yet is also a moment of extraordinary heroism. Staring down deadly violence and despicable bigotry, our law enforcement officers bravely stood in the breach, ensuring that democracy survived on that dark day.
Her democracy she's talking about, no one else's. And that's keeping themselves hidden. A man of memes said the FBI must be defunded and disbanded. The FBI had sex tapes of Democrat mayors sleeping with a Chinese spy and kept them hidden, knew Eric Swalwell was sleeping with a Chinese spy and kept it hidden, had Hunter Biden's laptop and kept that hidden, but leaked a dossier that they knew was fake to the New York Times in an effort to take down Trump. Great. Kelly too said, Donald J. Trump is the only politician in history to donate his salary back to the American people. He's also one of the few who left office worth less than when he started. Here's a list of politicians who donated their salaries during COVID. There's one name there. None of the others did. They'll take it off you. I'm telling you. Okay, and this, does anyone, this was supposed to be morning Pikachu dance. The winter has never been an obstacle to a good mood. Okay, this reminds me of the nurses and doctors dancing during a pandemic when they really had time to go and dance. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? Fake as... Yeah, exactly. Fruit Loop. Wow. Yeah, reminds me of the fake doctors and nurses doing the little dances during COVID. Michael Malice said the Wild West was safer than many, if not all, current US cities, despite what Hollywood movies told you to the contrary. This is the main reason that I posted this. Wasn't even this down here. He was responding to someone else who said, that's the Wild West, dear. Imagine you and your two neighbours having three different opinions. Which one is the police supposed to follow? Well, the Wild West, I believe, was actually safer than what we've been shown by Hollywood. More peaceful. Honestly, that's what I think. Rise Melbourne said Portugal. Okay, so Portugal's gone too. They're going against the passport, anti-agenda 2030, anti-constitutional changes, anti-government lies, not seen anywhere in MSM. Do whatever you can to disrupt their plans. Okay, said that person there. Okay, Dr. Sean Baker said in 2021, the Canadian healthcare system euthanized over 10,000 people, representing 3% of all deaths in Canada. Wow. And I saw a video. It was a police interrogation. Was it a police interrogation? I can't remember. This lady was admitting that she's in the healthcare system and that they overdose cancer patients with morphine. Help them along. And that's what I suspected with my friend and her mum. It happened to both of them. They didn't like it. They said, get me out of here. They've given me too many drugs. Yeah, and that's what happens. So, and I really think we're just being shown. This has been happening, I think, for a long time. We're just being shown. Comparing the third annual report to the second annual report, so 2021 to 2020, the report states that there were 10,064 assisted deaths in 2021, up from 7,603 in 2020, 5,661 in 2019, 4,480 in 2018, 2,838 in 2017, and 1,018 in 2016. This report indicates the number of assisted deaths increased by 32.4%, representing 3.3% of all deaths in 2021. And I don't think this is just Canada. Okay? When all data sources are considered, the total number of MAID reported assisted deaths in Canada from legalisation to December 31, 2021 is 31,664. That's too many people. They're doing it now if you're poor. They're doing it if you're depressed. They want to do it to kids. But they say mature-minded children should be able to choose. So what, one day you get a phone call saying your child is being euthanized because they chose to be? They don't need your consent. Okay, this was another inspirational thing. It doesn't matter who you used to be. What matters is who you decide to be today. You are not your mistakes. You are not your mishaps. You are not your past. You are not your wounds. You can decide differently today and at every moment. Remember that. You are offered a new opportunity with each breath to think, choose, and decide and act differently in a way that supports you in being all that you're capable of being. You are not less than. You are enough. Just an inspirational thing. Because you've got to throw something in there. It can't all be bad news. I said when you want to teach kids this stuff, you have a severe mental problem. Homeschool your kids, says Libs of TikTok.
Hi, I'm Jack. My pronouns are they, them, and I identify as trans and non-binary. Here are 3 things you can do to support trans children in your school. Number 1, be a visible trans ally. There are lots of ways to do this, from having trans-inclusive flags in your classroom to having trans-inclusive storybooks on your bookshelves. Number 2, stop unnecessarily gendering things in your school. This ranges from easy changes, like not grouping children into boys and girls, to not having gendered uniforms. Consider how excluded trans and especially non-binary children and staff may feel about gendered spaces and policies. And number 3, teach children about pronouns, what they are, how we use them, and why they're important. This allows trans people to not be singled out for their pronouns and instead makes pronouns part of the norm. Hi, I'm Jack.
I don't want to hear it again. I don't want to hear that again. And of course, someone would start their gardening as soon as it is Saturday morning here. Oh, it'd be nice to move to the middle of nowhere, wouldn't it? Rise Melbourne said Austria, boom, anti-agenda 2030, anti-government lies. Okay, so where's this? Austria, again, another one. I believe Sydney is still going too. And Melbourne? Or if Sydney's not, Melbourne is. So that's interesting. Oh, then you've got this. This is weird. I wonder why this tweet was deleted. Anyone from Chris Bowen is Australian something or other, idiot. In response to the policies we put in place for our first 6 months, Australia has jumped 26 points in WWF's renewable, or that Worldwide Wrestling Federation's renewable. No, I know it's not. I think he's supposed to WEF's renewable superpowers scorecard. We've hit the ground running, but there's still so much to do. Yeah, they've cut off people's electricity. And I wonder why they deleted it. Interesting. ALX said breaking. Elon Musk has fired Twitter's Deputy General Counsel Jim Baker in light of concerns about Baker's possible role in suppression of information important to the public dialogue. So, yeah, he was sacked. Hey, Elon Musk, you should probably cut ties with Perkins Coie as well if you've not done so already. Kash Patel said, Elon, when you're going to dismiss Perkins Coie as Twitter's outside counsel, you know, the guys that illegally funneled millions of campaign dollars to Fusion GPS via the likes of James Baker's pal, Michael Sussman, to perpetrate the Russiagate crimes with their partners in the FBI, the guys that lied to a federal court to illegally surveil a political opponent. That law firm, Perkins Coie, is on your payroll. How many comms Baker had with them over the years? I'm sure it's all legit. And good, because Elon Musk responded, Twitter isn't using Perkins Coie. No company should use them until they make amends for Sussman's attempt to corrupt the selections. Okay, Matt Taibbi, this is 6 degrees from James Baker, a familiar figure, re-emerges with the release of Twitter files, Jonathan Turley. This is another revolving door. I think there are numerous revolving doors on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Google, you name it. Same as Monsanto's revolving doors. In Monsanto's revolving doors that was known about 10 or more years ago, people who worked for Monsanto would then go work for the government, get certain things passed, and then go back to work for Monsanto with big bonuses, pay rises. Lots of good stuff, you know. Below is my column from the New York Post on the re-emergence of James Baker, the former FBI general counsel at the center of the Twitter suppression scandal. Here is the column. As thousands of Twitter documents are released on the company's infamous censorship program, much has been confirmed about the use of back channels by Biden and Democratic officials to silence critics on the social media platform. However, one familiar name immediately popped out in the first batch of documents released through journalist Matt Taibbi. James Baker. For many, James Baker is fast becoming the Kevin Bacon of the Russian collusion scandals. Baker has been featured repeatedly in the Russian investigations launched by the Justice Department, including the hoax involving the Russian Alpha Bank. When Clinton campaign lawyer Michael Sussman wanted to plant the bizarre false claim of secret communications channel between the Trump campaign and the Kremlin, Baker was his go-to. Speed dial contact. Baker would later testify at Sussman's trial. Baker's name also appeared prominently in controversies related to other Russian-related FBI allegations against Trump. He was effectively forced out due to his role and reportedly found himself under criminal investigation. He became a defender of the Russian investigations despite findings of biased and even criminal conduct. He was also a frequent target of Donald Trump on social media, including Twitter. Baker responded with public criticism of Trump for his false narratives. After leaving the FBI, Twitter seemed eager to hire Baker as Deputy General Counsel. Ironically, Baker soon became involved in another alleged back channel with the presidential campaign. This time it was Twitter that maintained the non-public channels with the Biden campaign and later the White House. Baker soon weighed in with the same signature bias that characterized the Russian investigations. Weeks before the 2020 presidential elections, the New York Post ran an explosive story about a laptop abandoned by Hunter Biden that contained emails and records detailing a multi-million-dollar influence peddling operation by the Biden family. Not only was Joe's son Hunter and brother James involved in deals with an array of dubious foreign figures, but Joe was referenced as the possible recipient of funds from these deals. The Bidens have been long accused of influence peddling, nepotism, and other forms of corruption. Moreover, the campaign was not denying that the laptop was Hunter Biden's and key emails could be confirmed from other parties involved. However, at the request of the Biden team and Democratic operatives, Twitter moved to block the story, which we all know. Baker jumped in to support the censorship and said it's reasonable for us to assume they may have been hacked and that caution is warranted, blah, blah. Bull. Serious. Bull crap. Okay, Elon Musk said in light of concerns about Baker's possible role in suppression of information important to the public, he was exited from Twitter. That was on the 7th of December. And also on the 7th of December, breaking in a further abuse of power, DOJ issues subpoenas of state officials over the dispute of Biden's election under state, federal, and constitutional law. One problem, Trump supporters were doing exactly what the Democrats did in Hawaii in 1960. Okay. Apparently, Ukraine has a bit of a problem. I'm not going to show that. And this one, he says white cis men are terrorists and a threat to their country. Well, this guy admits, right, that he has a mental problem and has no critical thinking ability if he ever had it. It's just rubbish, really. I've got more important things to report on, so I'm just going through. Mark Moss said America's just waged war on BlackRock and the ESG movement. Is the United States opting out of the global ESG movement being pushed by the global elite and actively bankrupting the Great Reset agenda? Let's have a look. Is it? What is ESG and where does this come from? Environmental, social and governance. ESG is a standard that tells investors whether a company is ESG friendly or not. In other words, sustainable development kind of rubbish. Burning fossil fuels is deemed bad for the environment, so oil and gas companies receive a bad ESG score. You see, environment, social and governance. How about logic, sensibility and governance? The TLDR of ESG, central planners love ESG because it gives them enormous control over how the private sector operates. Central banks already control the money. NGOs like the WEF and UN now want to control the food and energy supply to gain absolute control over us and the world. Who controls the food supply controls the people. Who controls the energy can control whole continents. Who controls the money can control the world. That's why I say start at the beginning and grow your own food, because then you're not controllable. Despite its utopian promises, ESG always ends in disaster. Sri Lanka was the ESG poster child, boasting a 98 to 100 ESG friendly score. The PM even published an article on the WEF's website in 2018 announcing how he would make his country rich by 2025 by embracing ESG. How's Sri Lanka doing in 2022? 110% inflation, food and energy shortages, protests and civil unrest. What happened to Sri Lanka in those 4 short years? The ESG policies mandated the farmers engage in an array of policies that destroyed their food production to save the planet. Okay, I wonder how vegans are going to go if there's no farmers. Where are they going to get their food from? Listening to the WEF and adopting ESG and central planning always fails. This is a lesson the Netherlands is in the process of learning, and so is Australia, obviously. Sri Lankan faces man-made food crisis as farmers stop planting. And another reason why you should grow your own food. Dutch farmers are being forced to close 3,000 farms in order to meet climate goals. The Netherlands is the number 2 agricultural exporter in the world and is the largest meat exporter in Europe. Each year, the Dutch produce 4 million cows, 13 million pigs, and 104 million chickens. ESG policies are causing food and energy shortages around the world. According to the UN, global hunger rose to 828 million in 2021. 1 out of 8 people in the world are now starving, yet our central planners want to continue shutting down our food production for this ESG movement. However, the fight against ESG is here. Texas has recently passed a bill that bans financial institutions the state deems are boycotting energy companies from doing any business with Texas. So Texas moves to ban BlackRock. Go Texas. Texas named and shamed 10 financial companies and 350 investment funds that are now banned from Texas. The list includes firms like BlackRock, who of course is the main pusher of ESG in the world. If you boycott Texas Energy, then Texas will boycott you. Well done. Like BlackRock, BNP Paribas, UBS Group, AG, they're just a couple of them. The law affects state pension funds and municipal bonds issued by local governments that work with companies on the list. The Texas legislation is among a growing trend of anti-ESG legislation. 18 states have adopted or proposed anti-ESG legislation or regulations in the past year. Another type of anti-ESG regulation prevents state fund managers from considering ESG factors when investing state funds. In a statement, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who sits on the SBA, said corporate power is increasingly being utilised to impose an ideological agenda on the American people through the perversion of financial investment priorities under euphemistic banners of environmental, social, and corporate governance. ESG investments are Okay, DeSantis proponents of anti-ESG legislation criticise ESG investments as putting ideology above shareholder profits. In Texas, they said if you boycott Texas Energy, yep. Okay, however, it's not just Texas. There are 19 other states who are also pushing back against ESG. US pension funds just withdrew $1 billion out of BlackRock. The tide's turning fast. What comes next? Let's go, Brandon. Will the US opt out of the Great Reset? Will ESG's biggest proponents like the UN and WEF fight back against the US? Interesting. And there's a YouTube video here. That's a wrap. If you enjoyed this thread, follow me at @1MarkMoss for more of these. Okay, what else have we got? Republicans launch antitrust investigation into climate-obsessed corporate cartel. Good stuff. House Republicans sent a letter to Climate Action. 100 plus what? Oh. Yeah, can I just read it? When companies agree to work together to punish disfavored views or industries, the Republicans wrote, this coordinated behavior may violate antitrust laws. So they're going in on ESG again. House Republicans launched an investigation Tuesday probing whether major climate groups that spearheaded the environmental social government's ESG movement are violating antitrust laws. So they're being investigated and they're being rejected. What else have we got in here? Anything else? Okay, the ESG movement is a ripe target for antitrust action. Here's what's happening. The biggest banks and money managers seek to implement a political agenda such as compliance with the Paris Climate Accord. Then a group mobilises Climate Action 100 Plus, for example, comprised of hundreds of big banks and money managers that together manage $60 trillion. The group uses its coordinated influence to compel companies to shut down coal and natural gas plants. The activism can include pushing climate goals at shareholder meetings and voting against directors and proposals that don't comport with the agenda, even if other decisions may benefit investors. So in other words, they really don't care about investors. It is antitrust. Vivek Ramaswamy said SBF used client funds to advance its own personal agendas without asking clients for permission to do so. That's theft. Large US financial institutions use client funds to vote for their own personal social agenda without asking clients for permission to do so. That's ESG. I went all in on the ESG because I didn't exactly know what it was. I know what it is. It's pretty much sustainable development is what they're doing, but they're using ESG as a name for it. The Epoch Times said ESG is business social credit. It means to control capital, keep business people in line with the narrative, and ultimately control you. Twitter CEO Elon Musk again denounced ESG standards as the devil. And, okay, Elon said, oh, what a tangled web they weave when first they practice to deceive. He left out the deceive, but we know. Peter Clack said, record-breaking snow cover in the Northern Hemisphere and one of the coolest springs in the Southern Hemisphere were ignored by the fascists at COP27 in sweltering Egypt for a week-long binge in 5-star hotels. Europe faces a horribly cold winter. Yeah, and even down here in the Southern Hemisphere, we're supposed to be in summer, and honest, it's not. It doesn't feel like summer. We are in summer, 10 days in, and I'm cold. Anywho, no jab, no job, said members of the WEF. Murray River, Murrumbidgee River, Goulburn River, Lachlan River, Naomi River all flow from major dams kept 100% full for several months. A well-planned event flooded out all the Indigenous communities without levee banks and the Riverland in South Australia. Shannon, Riverland, South Australia. Okay, Julie said, anybody wondering what happened to Amnesty Week? Government censorship has happened to Amnesty Week, that's what. You say it's a violation of First Amendment. Sorry, the EU has no First Amendment, so kiss those lost accounts goodbye. Are other countries involved in Twitter? Other countries, like EU, Australia, I don't know. Are other governments involved? That's what I'm wondering. It does seem that way. So I don't know what's going on there. But, yeah, I tried to get back in Amnesty Week. It didn't work. Tom Fitton said, cover up Pelosi. Congress claiming sovereign immunity in federal court to hide 14,000 hours of January 6 videos and hundreds of emails. Also says they aren't public records and there's no public interest in their release. Really? Will McCarthy release them? Oh, on this. Oh, my goodness. Cat Turd said, what the? Project Veritas said, breaking. F.W. Parker, Dean of Students, brags about bringing in LGBTQ plus health centre to teach queer sex to minors. Passing around dildos and butt plugs, kids are just playing with them using lube versus using spit. That's a really, cool part of my job. What? Okay, let's have a listen.
I had our LGBTQ plus health center come in. They were passing around butt plugs and dildos to my students, talking about queer sex, using lube versus using spit.
Meet Joe Bruno, Dean of Students at the prestigious Francis W. Parker Private School in Chicago, which happens to charge $40,000 per student.
They're just passing around dildos, butt plugs. The kids are just playing with them. They're like, how does this butt plug work?
In a private school? My goodness. Apparently I think this guy deleted his social media accounts now and but the school was supporting him.
How do we do, how does this work? That's a really, cool part of my job.
Parents might be stunned to learn that Bruno's version of love and acceptance means handing out sex toys to underage students.
So I've been the dean for 4 years. During Pride, we do a Pride Week every year. And I had our LGBTQ plus health center come in. They were passing around butt plugs and dildos to my students.
Oh my God. Honestly, can I just minimize this and you read it? I don't want to hear that. Oh my God. This man should be very much investigated really, really deeply, and his computer should be looked at too. In the classroom, while he's sitting there, they had a drag queen come in, pass out cookies and brownies and do photos. I'd be wondering what's in the brownies. That's so amazing and everyone's cool with that, the butt plugs and everything. No big complaints, no. I mean, if the parents found out, no, it's queer sex. Oh my God. That is the drag queen that came in. Now, I'm not homophobic. I'm not scared of these people, but this disgusts me. It's disgusting. So much freedom, so much money to do stuff. A trustee's okay with that too. They don't know. They would. It's like I wouldn't even run it by them. Why would I run it by them? They would be like, oh my God, that's wonderful. Oh my goodness, really? How old are the kids in the classroom? 14 to 18. And they're asking how it works. Oh my God, seriously? The world's going downhill really quickly. No, it's been like this for a long time. We just didn't know. And this is just being exposed more and more. And I actually thought, I don't know, when we did sex ed at school, it was I don't know, I don't believe the teachers should be teaching anything like that. Dr. Jordan B. Peterson said it's good to tweet this reminder periodically. Libs of TikTok said periodic reminder that the concept of gender identity was made up by a pedophile psychopath who experimented with his issues of gender on kids, which led to those kids committing suicide. This is the guy that made it all up. Another one needs to be. They all need to be investigated. ALX said photos Elon Musk has a bed and wardrobe at Twitter HQ where he's reportedly been sleeping as he continues to work to transform the company. And they're now saying that he's trying to, I don't know, running some slave thing or something. It isn't just hardcore Twitter 2.0 that sleeps at work. Elon does too. There shouldn't be an issue if workers aren't complaining about it. They're doing hard work. Let them sleep where they want and focus on cleaning up your city, London breed. More photos below. And it's in response to James Clayton, who said, the BBC has obtained pictures of inside Twitter, rooms that have been converted into bedrooms for staff to sleep in. The city of San Francisco is investigating it as it's a commercial building. Yeah, well, didn't they used to have like yoga rooms and drinking rooms and like all sorts of things? Why would they worry about beds being there? At least the people can sleep when they need to. ALX said, update. Elon Musk said, I slept on a couch in Twitter library and I don't ever wear slippers. So there you go. Okay, where are we? Go up. Yeah, internet was out and everything. Yep. Okay, anyone know what happened to this drunk cop? I don't know. This is pretty weird.
No, I don't have.
Okay, let's go to the beginning.
Well, because I got called here for you.
For what? What did I do?
Do you have any ID on you?
No, I don't have to give you
No,
ID,
you do
sir.
have to.
For what, sir? What did I do, sir?
You do.
What did I do, sir?
God, send me another unit.
Please bring your superior here, sir.
I am the superior.
No, you're.
I am the superior officer. My badge number is 4. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you have ID.
I don't have to give you ID.
No,
sir.
you do
I'm
have
just
to.
sitting there learning.
You
Why
do
are
have
here?
to show your ID.
Why are you here? No, I don't.
Yes, I do. I had a
What crime
call
did
on
I
you.
commit?
What
crime
you
did
know
I
what?
commit?
Get up.
What
and
crime?
go outside.
I'm
Get up
asking.
and go outside.
I'm asking you what crime
Get
I
up and
committed.
go outside.
Sir, I'm asking you what.
I got called here for you, and I'm asking your identification.
Sir, what
Get up
did
and
you
go
do?
outside.
What was the call?
Get up and go outside.
Sir, that's not fair. That's not right.
No, it is fair.
That's not right, sir.
It's very fair.
That's not right. That's
And
all
it's
being
very
recorded.
right.
There you go. Racial profiling, man.
Oh, yeah, it's racial profiling.
Straight in here.
5104 County.
Look at it.
5104. Oh, and 22431-272. 22. Or, I'm sorry, 32431-272. Run that, please. Because this guy's saying that I'm racial profiling him.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah. Because I just don't like black people.
Definitely.
Yeah, I don't like black people.
It's like that out here, man.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
sad.
it's like that out here.
It's sad.
Everybody knows me knows that I don't care whether you're white, brown, or
Are you
tan.
drunk, sir? Why are you looking like that, man?
Because I'm tired of your attitude.
I don't have an attitude.
You
I
do
never
have
had
an attitude.
Yes, sir. Okay, that's real. That's real. Yes, sir. But why am I being outside? Why am I being outside?
Is there anything on him? On him. Did you hear what they just said?
Yeah, I heard.
Because I couldn't hear.
What are you talking? He's over here talking about my tattoos and everything else to get out here, bro. I don't understand.
Oh, I already know who called. Yeah, I already know who called. He was right off the get-go.
What are you talking about? It's all recorded, sir. Everything from when you walked in, it's all recorded. So I hope you
I
got
don't
your
care.
stories. Okay.
5104 County. Is there any wants?
Negative.
Right.
Okay, send everything down, please. Also, a criminal history.
Here, sir.
Oh, it did sound drunk. I know it was like the guy was saying racial profiling and that, but that copper did look like there was something wrong. He wasn't all with it. I don't know what he was on, but looked like he was on something. ALX said, breaking, former Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey calls on Elon Musk to release all the Twitter files. Yeah, I'd like to know why Jack Dorsey didn't. Really? Important to note, Elon Musk has told me the intent is to release all the files, and regarding takedown requests from governments and campaigns, both past and future requests should be made public. Breaking, Elon Musk responds to Jack Dorsey's call to release Twitter files. Most important data was hidden from you too, and some may have been deleted, but everything we find will be released. So I'd like to know why Jack Dorsey didn't. If he's calling on Elon Musk to do it, why didn't he? Jack Posobiec said, breaking, Elon Musk just confirmed data may have been hidden and deleted from Twitter files. This revelation follows a sudden firing of James Baker, the FBI cutout, who intercepted the files before they were sent to Matt Taibbi. So much for the people trying to defend James Baker earlier today. Yikes, not a good look. Okay, here's the Twitter files supplemental. On Friday, the first instalment of the Twitter files was published here. We expect to publish more over the weekend. Many wondered why there was a delay. We can now tell you part of the reason. On Tuesday, Twitter Deputy General Counsel and former FBI General Counsel Jim Baker was fired. Among the reasons, vetting the first batch of Twitter files without knowledge of new management. The process for producing the Twitter files involved delivery to two journalists, Barry Weiss and me, via a lawyer close to new management. However, after the initial batch, things became complicated. Over the weekend, while we both dealt with obstacles to new searches, it was Barry Weiss who discovered that the person in charge of releasing the files was someone named Jim. When she called to ask Jim's last name, the answer came back, James Baker. My jaw hit the floor, said Weiss. The first batch of files both reporters received was marked Spectra Baker emails. Baker is a controversial figure. He's been something of a zealot of FBI controversies dating back to 2016, from the Steele dossier to the Alpha server mess. He resigned in 2018 after an investigation into leaks to the press. The news that Baker was reviewing the Twitter files surprised everyone involved, to say the least. New Twitter chief Elon Musk acted quickly to exit Baker Tuesday. Reports resumed searches through Twitter files material, a lot of it today. The next installment of Twitter files will appear at Barry Weiss. Stay tuned, which I've got to look for more updates on. There's Jack saying, if the goal is transparency to build trust, why not just release everything without filter and let people judge for themselves, including all discussions around current and future actions, make everything public now at the Twitter files? I'm wondering why Jack didn't. Breaking, Elon Musk responds to Jack Dorsey, so I just read that. Okay, Ian Miles Chong said Wikipedia is voting on the deletion of the entry for Elon Musk's Twitter files because the editors have deemed it a nothing burger that is not notable because the media didn't give it enough coverage. These people work hand in hand with the MSM to shape the narrative, and they do, and that's what they're doing. They're trying to make it out to be a nothing burger. Rep Jim Jordan said the Twitter files show how bad things can get when big tech, big media, and big government all work together. Colin Rugg said, I'm waiting for Republican leaders to take charge and demand, not tweet, that those involved in the Twitter files are held accountable. Who will it be? If Elon can risk his livelihood by dropping the files, you can do your job. Rudy Giuliani said, what we have on our hands is a Joe Biden scandal, not a Hunter Biden scandal. Okay. Breaking, following the Twitter files, AFL has obtained new documents uncovering a secret Twitter portal US government officials used to censor dissenting views and violate the First Amendment. Follow along for disturbing findings from the 500-page release. In August 2021, the head of Google's News Lab for the Asia-Pacific region emailed a CDC vaccine confidence strategist to invite her to the APAC's Trusted Media Summit. CDC's vaccine confidence strategist then emailed the event planner for Google's APAC Trust Media Summit, noting her excitement over being invited to what she referred to as the coolest misinformation fighting speakeasy. The same CDC employee was then invited to the summit to give a keynote address addressing how the CDC was working with the WHO and other international organisations to address so-called infodemic and using social inoculation to mitigate it. On May the 10th, 2021, a Twitter employee recommended to a CDC official to enrol in Twitter's partner support portal, which he described as the best way to get a spreadsheet like this reviewed. On May 11th, 2021, the CDC official enrolled her personal Twitter account into Twitter's partner support portal, which allowed a special expedited reporting flow in the Twitter Help Center. Facebook brags in a slide deck we remove claims about the existence and severity of COVID, including claims that COVID is no more dangerous than the common flu. Facebook uses incredibly vague and nebulous standards to judge information. We all know that. In its widely debunked hoax section, Facebook claims that natural immunity is safer than vaccine-acquired immunity, despite knowledge that the vaccines don't do much to prevent transmission. And what we now know, more people are dying now yeah, it's all happening. Died suddenly. Go and watch it. Finally, Facebook boasts of removing over 16 million posts on Facebook and Instagram, including over 2 million between February and May 2021. And you can read more there. AFL lawsuit uncovers more damning CDC documents revealed. So that's going on. There's another lawsuit. So there's lawsuits going on all over the place. We're just not hearing about them. Cat Turd said, lol, a picture's worth 1,000 words. Hunter Biden, who's that? Who's the other guy? Hang on. Can anyone tell me who that is? Michael Fanoni is scraping the bottom of the barrel. January 6th actor. Ooh, how interesting. Kathy Griffin, look who came over for a hot cup of F Trump. He's pointing to the cup, says F Trump. Yeah. Nancy Pelosi with him as well. Oh, dear. Oh. Aussie 17 said there are a lot of similarities. Oh, is this number 2 of something? Yep, it is. New thread on why I think the shit's going to hit the fan starting in Q1 2023. I'm also going to drop some names here. I'm going to need to word this thread carefully to avoid lawsuits. There are just personal opinions amongst me and my pharma industry colleagues. Oh, this will be interesting. There are a lot of similarities between this developing scandal in pharma and what happened in Twitter. If some of you have been following the Twitter files. Okay, in the beginning, everyone was simply pointing the blame at Jack Dorsey because he was the CEO. Truth is, a lot of stuff happens below the CEO, and the CEO is largely unaware. Doesn't mean they're blameless. In Twitter, there are largely 2 big pillars that run the business. One is the tech, led by Jack, and one is information manipulation, led by Vijaya. Similarly, in pharma, we have 2 giant pillars that runs the business. One is the commercial and one is the research and development. Often in pharma, these 2 groups are always at odds with each other. At the commercial side, we often say, why don't we just contract out R&D? At the R&D side, they often say, why don't we just contract out sales and marketing? Anyway, most of the time, a CEO is someone who comes from the commercial side or finance, but they're the ones who push R&D for new profitable drugs. Commercial guys tend to close an eye when it comes to safety. In their mind, profit is all that matters. There's always a push for profit, and if anything goes wrong, they can blame R&D. The folks in R&D are the ones who give green lights for a drug to go to market. They are the ones who do all the clinical trials and monitor drug safety issues. They're the ones who decide fundings on research, work with publishers to get a narrative, science pushed. In other words, the senior figures in charge of the R&D is the equivalent of Vijaya Gaddi, or whatever her name is, in Twitter. They're also the first ones to see any drug safety signals, i.e. if there's a problem with the drug. If you watch the clip below, Burrell said, I was surprised they suggested the mRNA was the way to go. When he said he's referring to R&D. This is a shocking statement because Burrell just threw his R&D under the bus. It's research and development. Throwing his R&D under the bus is very telling of the pressure he's facing. Usually CEOs do not throw their R&D under the bus because it hurts future high potential hires. You need great people in R&D to continue finding profitable drugs. The second thing that tells me why it's going to hit the fan in Q1 2023 is the retirement of key executive in Pfizer who's responsible for R&D for the vaccine division. She announced her resignation around April 2022, and that's Catherine Jansen. This tells me she had some new internal data that showed a worrisome trend, and she announced her retirement. There might be other reasons too, but she must have factored it into her retirement. Working in pharma, I can tell you that if you create a real wonder drug that saved the world from a pandemic, you ain't going to retire. You tend to work forever because of a superstar status. The company will pay whatever it takes to keep you. The second person who retired was Matthew Mammon, who is a R&D chief for J&J. He announced his retirement in August the 8th. From Johnson & Johnson. Guess who else announced their retirement in August 2022? Yes, Mr. Fauci himself announced his retirement 14 days after Matthew Mammon. A coincidence? This is why we think it's going to hit the fan in Q1 2023. It will take some time for things to develop after that, but I believe it will start with the recall of the mRNA. The key figures who launched this are leaving. If you wonder why the CEO hasn't left yet, that's because he's already established a defense using these people as fall guys. If you'd like to read more about pharma, read the collection of subthread below this thread. Oh, okay. There's another thread. I might have to read that one next time. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to bookmark that. There's only so much I can do in one stream. There's a lot going on. Okay, you've got this guy with a mask got mad because some guy walked too close to him without wearing one. Oh, big man. Should we listen? Hang on. All the people around him don't have masks on either. What's going on here? He's getting all upset over one person?
I'm not getting
I didn't even see the person walk close to him, but there you go. Is there a thread? No, they're just selling merch, yeah. Okay, and then we got Alexandra Marshall. Gender is a reality. Ignoring it is insanity. Confusing children about it is abuse. Ian Miles Chong said, so we're allowed to address how literal pedos are in schools promoting their sickness under the guise of gender ed? Oh, it's disgusting, isn't it? The Bradford Files said everything they warned Russia would do in our elections, the FBI actually did. Well, what do you know? Aussiebot said genocide. Rolls said they're not that bright. Incredibly high. Not clear what's causing Australia's rise in deaths. The Australian government should be urgently investigating the incredibly high 13% excess death rate in 2022. The current country's peak actuarial body says. Okay. So they have no idea. I mean, even I know. I'm sure you know too. RIG Pig 666 says Ozpol. Chris Du Bois said, oh, I don't know how to say that. But anyway, currently there's an almost equal amount of Antarctic sea ice as there was in 1979. Where's the crisis? Yes, it's getting colder and they're still screaming that, you know, sky's falling. They've been doing it for years. Has it fallen yet? No jab, no job said Australian governments never gave two hoots about blackfellas. Now look at the current narrative. And blackfellas is what they call themselves. Aboriginals call themselves blackfellas. And Australians have for a long time. Now look at the current narrative. There's a big planned scam. They even rounded them up like sheep to vaccinate them. And they flooded them out, apparently, with the holding the dams full, and they released them. And wokeness, they fired troops and replaced them with these idiots. Oh, dear God. Really? Okay, let's go on to more insanity. Polybard said the electricity denier speaks. Anthony Albanese says after a decade of denial and delay, we're doing what it takes to protect the environment. Government to establish Federal Environment Protection Agency in major overhaul of Australia's environmental laws. Now watch them take all the land and claim it as their own. Let's see, who commented here? Are they? Does that mean people won't be allowed to go to public parks, gardens, or the like anymore because everything has a double or backward meaning when it comes to politicians? I think that's exactly what they mean. That is exactly what they mean. Okay. Electorally, Albo can't shut down coal mines and gas fields. That's where an independent EPA comes in. Whatever that doesn't shut down the voice will finish off. Yeah, dear me. It's looking bad, but, you know, to the precipice. And look, seriously, it has to be done this slowly because think of the normal people who don't know any of this, right? If you all of a sudden tell them all, they'll just lose the plot. So it's got to be slow walked with the public, and that's the public are the ones that need to reach the precipice. We're already there. Amazing Polly spokesperson. I don't know if I can read this one. Another synthesis of the Star of David with the swastika. Azov's interesting because it's an owned army by a Jewish billionaire named Kolomoisky. I've heard that name before. Have you? Lock, stock and barrel. Okay, there's a whole video here. I'm not going to play that, but it's on Twitter. If anyone wants to follow me on Twitter or go and have a look, you should be able to click my Twitter link under this video and go to my Twitter page where you should be able to read them even if you're not logged in. I don't know if they've changed it, but you used to be able to read it without being logged in. ALX said breaking Sam Bankman-Fried himself is under federal investigation for market manipulation for 2 cryptocurrencies, and his company FTX is also under investigation for violating US money laundering laws. Then there's this one. Seb Lee said, how can you live through the last 3 years and not think something's off? If this seems as obvious to you as it does to me, then you'll know why I encourage developing your skills. There will come a time within 3 years where you will need to depend entirely on yourself. The Library of Self-Sufficiency books will help. Okay, you're selling something there, but I do believe that's what it's going to come down to. Living, looking after yourself. At least growing your own food, at the very least. Layla Halpern said young girls are doomed because they have porn stars like Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, and the Stallion Woman as role models. And she's now getting death threats across all socials from these women's fans. Trash attracts trash. I stand by my comments. Yeah, well, when they have, like, and Lady Gaga and people like that to look up to, that's not... Okay, this was 2 days ago. Okay, December, summer here in Australia. The 3 Mile Times says Mount Baw, Victoria this morning had snow in summer. Okay, so if you think it's... Oh, why can't I see the rest of these? Oh, what a shame. Anyway, that was... Victoria. They're about 400 to 600 kilometres down south from where I am. Please no. Okay, Hunter and his... is that his niece? I don't know. Lucky the breaking news is over that spot. Don't want to see that again. I've seen it the first time when they released a video. Oh, my God. Jupitech said these eco-terrorists never really think these things through. New study shows offshore wind farms hurt marine life. What do you know? The offshore wind farms do far more harm to marine life than green zealots will admit. Bridget Gabriel said Chelsea Clinton should be investigated just like Hunter Biden. I believe they all should. James Melville said, we're paying our government to inflict huge damage on the country, and the worst thing about it is they're doing it deliberately. It's absolutely disgusting, and yet so many people still haven't woken up to this. It's time to stand up against this before it's too late. And we've got to get normal people on school boards and in councils and in state governments. We've got to get the normal people, like people who work hard, truckies and, you know, a tradie or, you know, I'd trust them more than I trust these bloody idiots in charge right now. Hank Mayer said drug smugglers in Indonesia get the firing squad. A Bali bomber who killed 202 people gets 20 years. What the hell? Well, priorities, you know. Max Blumenthal said CBS was forced to apologise under Pentagon pressure for this report showing that most military aid to Ukraine was unaccounted for and likely flowing into the hands of criminal mafias. Too much transparency too soon, apparently. Illuminati bot said there's a virtual mountain of factual data and information proving the existence of geoengineering programs over the last 60 years, US Senate documents, US military documents, patents, film footage, lab tests, science studies, etc. They have been doing it for a long time. Do we want to see another day at work with someone? For the Big Four. She works at the Big Four. What's the Big Four?
Spend an in-person workday with me as a Big Four management consultant. I woke up at 6:30, showered, had some Greek yogurt topped with honey and almonds for breakfast, finished getting ready, and then ordered an Uber to the office. Work pays for our Ubers, which is so clutch because otherwise it would get so pricey. I got to the office, met up with...
What did she say? That's so clutch. What the f is that? Is she trying to make up a new word for, like, so cool? Clutch? Is that what she said? Hang on, I've got to go back. Is that what she said?
Pays for our Ubers, which is so clutch because otherwise it would get so pricey. I got to the office, met up with my team, and then we went to the in-house Starbucks. I got tea for myself and picked up a matcha latte and croissant for my manager. We were hungry, so we also got breakfast sandwiches from the cafe. Then we had back-to-back sessions for a few hours. We had some very cool brainstorming sessions. My teammates are such talented, thoughtful people. I felt so excited about my product marketing work after all of these sessions. Afterwards, my coworker Ellie and I picked up sweet green for everyone for lunch. I got the fish taco bowl, which was so yummy. Then I went to IT to switch out my PC for a Mac. Learning the new shortcuts will be a lot of work, but Macs are so smooth, I had to make the switch.
So far, I've got her working as brainstorming, which is sitting around talking to other people, and trading in a laptop. The rest of the time she's eating. Okay.
More back-to-back meetings until the end of the day. Afterwards, we Ubered to a restaurant for drinks and dinner. From 5:30 to 9, we were at this restaurant just eating, laughing, drinking wine. My team gets along so well, so it was the best time. We were having so much fun and didn't want the night to end, so we Ubered to the Lincoln Memorial. Then we went to Green Zone and Admo, finished the night with pizza, and that was my workday.
Wow. So brainstorming, handing a computer in, and some meetings. Very important work, that is. Illuminati bot said this footage aired once. Okay, after this date. Whoa, my stomach just went berserk then. Okay.
Outside the Pentagon, CNN's military affairs correspondent Jamie McIntyre. And Jamie, you got very close to where that plane went down.
That's right, Judy. A while ago, I walked right up to next to the building. Firefighters were still trying to put out the blaze. The fire, by the way, is still burning in some parts of the Pentagon. And I took a look at the huge gaping hole that's in this sideway. But from my close-up inspection, there's no evidence of a plane having crashed anywhere near the Pentagon. The only site is the actual side of the building that's crashed in. And as I said, the only pieces left that you can see are small enough that you could pick up in your hand. There are no large tail sections, wing sections, a fuselage, nothing like that anywhere around.
Wow. Interesting. That was the Pentagon. Couldn't see a plane. Clown World said, fantastic news. New York Times journos to strike Thursday after contract negotiations fail, unions say. You know what? The whole world would be better off if all mainstream news went on strike. Seriously. AussieBot said if the child dies, Ardern should be held responsible. Jacinda Ardern's government has taken guardianship of baby Will. He'll be forced to use mRNA-tainted blood during his heart operation, even though the parents had hundreds of unvaccinated blood donors ready. Okay, in New Zealand, they wouldn't let the child get, needed a blood transfusion, wouldn't let him get the blood, you know. And now they've taken the child off the parents. See how that works? Scary, isn't it? And that's been going, I think that's been going on for longer than we think too. Johnny Midnight said eye colour is different, chin and lips. Ears as well. You can add ears to that. You can add neck. Oh, yeah, no, yeah. Yeah, it's not the same person. Actors. Acting. Okay, I don't know who. Two Dots said, fact, batteries do not produce electricity but store electricity produced elsewhere, mainly by coal, uranium, natural gas plants or diesel generators. To say that an electric car gives zero emissions is another hoax. They don't. And I wrote, I shared Bette Midler and said, ooh, I can smell you from here. Okay, because this is what Bette Midler said. If you knew what I've done to mitigate the criminal environmental craziness in this country, you would kiss my backside. I've done my part and I've done your part. I've done geothermal, solar, hybrid, electric cars, composting, recycle. I bathe once a month. F you. And I just wrote, well, I can smell you from here, love. Cat Turd said, damn right it is. Post Millennial said Dan Bongino reacts to having been blacklisted by Twitter. This is some Soviet-style bullshit right here. I think something's still going on. There's still people in there that shouldn't be in there. That's what I think. And they're going to find who they are. Ian Miles Chong said, so here's a question for Elon Musk and Barry Weiss. Were any political candidates either in the US or elsewhere subject to shadow banning while they were running for office or seeking re-election? Furthermore, there is the question of whether any of Twitter's acts of covert shadow banning suppression was done at the behest of political agents, campaigns, activists, or the government at any level, especially federal. And Elon Musk says yes. It's interference, isn't it? It really is. I think it's... I think things are about to really start spilling over, and when they can't control this info coming out, they'll try and shut it down. ALX said, breaking, Elon Musk confirms some account on the rights was suspended even when Twitter internally acknowledged no rules were broken. Polybard said, decades ago there were problems with Asian gangs and sword attacks in Melbourne. Nobody screamed racist. We formed an Asian gang squad and sorted it. And life returned to normal shortly afterwards. Thugs don't respect fear and leftists thrive on it. Show none, call it out. Herald Sun said, Steve Price, labelling those who refer to African youth gangs racist is fueling the bloodshed on our streets, and where are these kids' parents? Because they do. In Melbourne, they have a real problem with people they've immigrated. Got to say the truth. You can't, what are you going to do? Tiptoe around? Oh, no, it's not even happening. That's what the mainstream media does. Libs of TikTok says, this is great. Every single user deserves to know if they're being targeted. Elon Musk said Twitter is working on a software update that will show your true account status so you know clearly if you've been shadow banned, the reason why and how to appeal. Craig Kelly says censorship by evil. A new Twitter Files investigation reveals the teams of Twitter employees build blacklists, prevent disfavoured tweets from trending, and actively limit the visibility of entire accounts or even trending topics, all in secret without informing users. Wow. Okay. And then you've got Sarah A. Carter said, want to watch a border crisis explode? It's horrible enough a humanitarian national security crisis, but it will increase beyond anything imagined if this amnesty deal passes. Tucker Carlson said there's new reporting that Democrats and several Republicans are working on a deal to pass amnesty for millions of illegal migrants before the new Congress can take over. This is an actual effort to disenfranchise American voters. And Tucker does go on to mention that they're not even from Mexico. Like, there's 1% from Mexico. The rest are from other countries going through the southern border. Val Katayev said, did you know there's a shadow bank that oversees $21 trillion of the world's money? It has a dominating stake in every major S&P 500 company. It directs trillions for the Fed, central banks, and government treasury. The global financial ecosystem is ruled by this one company. Guess who? Of course they do. There's Blackstone too, and I believe they're all connected. Benny Johnson said, Doocy to KGP, is this prisoner swap? Why did Russia get such a better deal? Look, this lady can't even answer a question anymore.
In this prisoner swap, why did Russia get such a better deal?
Look, you know, I've talked about this, and I'll say this again. Here were our choices. Our choices was Brittany or no one at all. Bringing home one American or no American at all. And that's
gave up a professional athlete. We gave up a prolific arms dealer who was convicted of trying to kill Americans, who was called the Merchant of Death.
The professional athlete is also an American citizen. So let's not forget that. Who deserved
American
and
citizen,
and I've explained how the Russians have illegally treated, totally illegitimately treated his situation. I've been very clear on that. We've laid that out for you. And again, the president felt that this was an opportunity to bring Brittany home. He is going to continue to do everything he can to bring Paul Whelan home, just like he did with Trevor Reed, just like he was able to secure Trevor Reed.
This is virtue signaling. That's all that is. Bringing the trans person home instead of bringing the veteran home. No Jab, No Job said, does anyone know why the two BlackRock trading funds have been shut down on the ASX? Is it because of what's currently going on in the USA? Court cases at all? That's interesting. I found that really interesting. That was 19 hours ago. Tom Fitton said, corrupt congressman abuses office to call for mass censorship using fake stats threatens Elon Musk. And it's Shifty Schiff on Elon Musk's Twitter. Slurs against black people have tripled. Slurs against women are up 33%. Slurs against Jewish people are up 61%. And slurs against gay men are up 58%. These numbers are abysmal and unacceptable. Today, Rep. Mark Takano and I are demanding action. So, there you go. Apparently that's a threat. Jack Posobiec said, look closely at Libs of TikTok screenshot posted from the Twitter files. There's a direct messages tab. So they had access. Twitter had access to their direct messages. Live videos, communities, guano, whatever that is, email, phone lists, direct messages, moments, interactions, account. Ooh, that's not good. That doesn't look good. Oh, and Meghan Markle mocking the Queen, and I'm asking, like, who's yelling in the background? But this was weird, just the whole thing. Guys, I don't know if you could hear that. Hang on. That sounded like a child to me. I don't know. They may have had TV or something on, but I don't know. The TV wasn't on the beginning. Anyway, I don't know. Maybe I'm making more of something than it actually is, but that just raised the hackles on my neck. Michael Malice said, holy shit, Laura's back. Must watch. Extremely disturbing homophobic remarks made by Linda Sarsour's self-proclaimed mentor and favourite person, Siraj Wahaj. Linda Sarsour and Cairn National condemns Siraj Wahhaj, who they have both praised and supported. Okay, because apparently he's a Muslim and he does speak about trans people.
Hey guys, Laura Loomer here. I'm about to play some really graphic and disturbing audio for you guys from a guy named Siraj Wahhaj. Siraj Wahhaj is a very prominent Muslim leader here in the United States. He's currently an imam in New York City, but more than that, he's also a multi-million-dollar fundraiser for Muslim organizations here in America like CARE, ISNA, and ICNA.
ISNA has done and meant for them and their family, for America. I believe there's some Muslim here today say, you know what, I can match my brother and I will give a donation of $100,000. Anyone here?
He also gave an address to Congress in 1991.
Prayer will be offered by our guest chaplain, Imam Siraj Wahhaj.
He's also a co-conspirator in the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. And most recently, his son, who's also named Siraj Wahhaj, was arrested in New Mexico where he had a jihadi training compound training 11 kids to be school shooters or little terrorists. Now, take a listen to what Linda Sarsour has to say about her buddy Siraj Wahhaj.
And to my favorite person in this room, because that's mutual, is Imam Siraj Wahhaj, who has been a mentor, a motivator, an encourager of mine.
Well, that's really nice, isn't it, Linda? And I recently uncovered some audio from Linda Sarsour's mentor. Take a listen.
And you know, brothers and sisters, you know what the punishment is if a man is found with another man? The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, kill the sa'il and the maf'ul. The one who does it and the one to whom it is done to. Kill them both.
Oy vey, Linda, that was some pretty hateful homophobic stuff coming out of your mentor's mouth there. Now, don't you consider yourself to be a representative for the Women's March? And haven't you proclaimed that you yourself are a champion for LGBTQ people? This is not a good look for the Democrats, Linda. And this is why I'm encouraging all people in America to contact the Democrat Party. Whether you're a Republican, a Democrat, a progressive, whatever you may be, this is unacceptable behavior. And Linda Sarsour should not be working with the Democrats. Contact them today and demand that they cut off all ties with Linda Sarsour.
Yeah, what do the LGBTQ people think, that Muslims are going to do to them? I mean, they're not going to just welcome them with open arms. Alexandria Marshall said people are quite rightly asking why they should fund the upkeep of public parks if they're not allowed to enjoy or even photograph them. Why should a racist level of bureaucracy receive a single cent of public money? Let's have a look at this one. Imagine telling a Brit of migrant origin they're forbidden from visiting the White Cliffs of Dover because they're spiritually important geological feature, or that anyone with the wrong skin colour looking at them would cause distress and offence. What about if all non-white tourists were banned from Stonehenge because those who weren't Indigenous to the area are somehow violating the spirit of traditional ownership and tarnishing the land with their presence? How about a welcome to country to all migrants every time they enter a public hall? Yeah, I can hear the court cases and media outrage already. What unbelievable racism. White supremacy. How dare you offend migrants? They're just as British as anyone else. The press would cry and they would be right, yet the conversation is identical to what is taking place in Australia. White Brits are the Indigenous owners of the UK, but they'd be laughed at if they asked for special consideration surrounding their culturally sacred sites. There's an assumption that Brits or anyone of European descent aren't entitled to connection to the land or their ancestral places. They're stuck in a racial purgatory because they are alone of all conquering civilizations. They alone, of all conquering civilizations, must suffer the loss of their identity as penance for dragging the world into the modern era. It doesn't matter how terrible the sins are of other nations, plenty of which make Europe look like a panda petting zoo. The collectivists want to destroy Western dominance, and they've decided to use imagined race politics to do it. For a nation to maintain civil peace and cohesion, there's an understanding that all citizens are equal. Public spaces such as national parks are the property of citizens to be funded by, looked after for, and enjoyed by everyone. Australians are entitled to feel a spiritual connection to their homeland, regardless of the colour of their skin. To suggest otherwise is outright racism, and shame on the Liberal Party for failing to stand against Labor and the Greens on this issue that will see the children of this country ranked like a Bunnings paint chart. Bunnings here in Australia is a hardware shop, right, like their paint charts. A sensible person would expect parents to be horrified at their children being saddled with the crimes of people who share their skin colour. But plenty of inner city affluent families see the sacrifice of their children's innocence as some kind of social purification. They love watching their children being punished. The argument that a person's DNA defines their affinity to the land is nonsense. A white person born in Australia who works the land and spends their whole life in the bush will have a deep spiritual affinity. They will not have some kind of mystic connection to the country in Europe that they've never been to simply because 5 generations ago a distant relative was born there. It makes about as much sense as claiming Aboriginal Australians have a spiritual connection to Africa instead of Australia, because Africa is the true origin of their genetic ancestry and a place where their elders spent millions rather than tens of thousands of years. After all, if we want to play the idiotic game of counting ancestors, all of us spent more time together in Africa than any other place in the world. Race politics is a political weapon bought out by the worst regimes as a way to divide society and scam money or power from whichever race is being demonised. If our political class had any moral strength, this sort of behaviour would qualify as a crime. Parks Australia was set up as a benign organisation to take care of national and marine parks, but recently they've turned into the race police, locking Australians of the wrong colour out of their public-funded shared environments. As an organisation, they've already been savaged by people old enough to remember how much better Australian parks did when they were open to the public and managed properly. The lock-up policies remain widely blamed by people who live around national parks for being the true cause of huge bushfires that politicians wrongly attribute to climate change. Due to poor maintenance of fire trails, the banning of grazing animals, prevention of farmers managing burn-offs, and general poor upkeep by park rangers. Of course, Parks Australia gets really nasty when they're criticised by the public, but tough luck, they deserve it. Coastal areas in particular have seen the loss of their native wildflower fields due to management failing to maintain the regular burn-offs required to preserve the habitat, with political concerns for koala habitats drowning out any reasonable discussion. Since then, Parks Australia have progressed from locking Australians out of public land due to wildlife protection and are engaging in race-based lockouts justified by honouring spiritual connections to the land by small Indigenous groups. These public parks are paid for and previously enjoyed by all Australians, but now places like Mount Warning have been locked down, closed during the pandemic for reasons that are obviously complete nonsense. The park never reopened to the public and has been renamed. Not only are people of the wrong race forbidden from walking the previously public track frequented by 120,000 people a year, but Australians are also banned from taking photographs. Yeah, photographs. I bet Google Maps isn't stopped from taking satellite imagery of the park. As one person wrote on Facebook, the whole of Australia will be deemed cultural land before too long, and we won't be able to climb any mountain or cross any river. Disgrace. This sentiment was repeated by another who wrote, "My culture says I will climb that mountain whenever I feel like it. Sick of this over-regulated country, time to start giving the finger to authority." There are plenty of other similar comments. One might say that Parks Australia is one of the chief bodies responsible for sparking racial tension between Australian citizens by actively discriminating against them. People are quite rightly asking why they should fund the upkeep of public parks if they're not allowed to enjoy or even photograph them. Why should a racist level of bureaucracy receive a single cent of public money? Mount Warning is a natural geological feature. It was not built by a single Indigenous hand. As such, it is the joint property of all Australian citizens, a shared ancestral land for all who call themselves Australian. That was why national parks were set up in the first place. Any group that claims it is culturally unsafe or offensive to allow another person to visit due to their race is racist. It is a sentiment that cannot be justified and should instead be openly shamed by all decent and moral people. Imagine if someone banned Indigenous people from climbing the Harbour Bridge because it would be culturally unsafe. Those times are gone, and allowing Indigenous groups to resurrect racism for political privilege and money is, as one Facebook user wrote, a farce. Which brings us to what we might hope is the last straw. Recently, Australian Parks sent out a letter of demand to the Herald Sun, wanting them to remove a cartoon of Ayers Rock, Uluru, The cartoon by Mark Knight showed Ayers Rock looming over Parliament to symbolise the coming voice to Parliament referendum. Parks Australia attempted to say that drawing the national and natural geological feature violated its media guidelines surrounding sensitive and sacred sites without a permit. Oh my God. These artworks do not have media permits and breach media guidelines. To comply with the EPBC Act media guidelines, ICIP, Indigenous Cultural Intellectual Property laws, and show respect for Anangu land and culture, we asked you to remove any artwork breaching these conditions and showing Uluru. How insane. A permit to draw Ayers Rock. Most Australians were outraged to discover that such a ridiculous guideline existed and demand Parks Australia explain itself. To be frank, most people told Parks Australia to get effed, or some variation of the theme of unprintable outrage. The permits were meant to protect Anangu against inappropriate use and benefits to others from the commercialisation of their Indigenous cultural intellectual property. What, like the decades of Tourism Australian ads that dug the regional community out of poverty? That kind of commercialisation? Before commercialisation, no one cared about locking people out of Ayers Rock because there was no guilt money in it. If anything, the actions of Parks Australia is a form of commercialisation by gatekeeping licences to draw the rock. The Herald Sun met Parks Australia with a few scary-looking lawyers, and pretty quickly Parks Australia replied. Staff sent Mr Knight an email about the Uluru Kata Juta media guidelines, which was not appropriate. It isn't a request that should have been made, and we apologise for the error. An error or embarrassment. Legal demands are rarely sent by accident. Someone made a conscious decision to draft it, pen it, approve it, and hit send. Telling a cartoonist that they cannot draw Ayers Rock is pretty close to banning images of Muhammad. Roping off sections of culture for special groups is not just a slippery slope, it's a nightmare cliff that ends in division, hatred, and animosity. It made me feel like I'd done something wrong. I thought it was a very nice image, and lo and behold, ironically, I was asked to take it down, said Mr Knight. That's the point of race politics. Australians are being made to feel like they've done something wrong by enjoying an afternoon on their favourite walking track or taking a selfie in the middle of the bush. It's the art of creating outrage out of nothing and then shaking the collection bucket for reparations. It's insane. Insanity. Okay, ALX said if Twitter employees admitted to censoring individual for political reasons over email, just imagine what they're saying in their company Slack chats. Could imagine. Robert F. Kennedy said a new US Right to Know report, Merchants of Poison, How Monsanto Sold the World on Toxic Pesticide, illuminates the disinformation, science denial, and manufactured doubt at the core of the pesticides public relations playbook. Let's have a look at this one. A new report shows Merchants of Poison, How Monsanto, illuminates the disinformation. I just read all that. Centering the herbicide glyphosate, known by its brand name Roundup, as a case study, the report is the first comprehensive review of Monsanto's product defense strategy, including disinformation tactics it used to manipulate the science and attack scientists and journalists who raised concerns about the health and environment risks of its flagship product, the world's most widely used herbicide. The report also reveals the AstroTurf operations as well as front groups, professors, journalists and others that Monsanto, now owned by Bayer, relied on to protect its profits from glyphosate despite decades of science linking the toxic chemical to cancer, reproductive impacts and other serious health concerns. The analysis draws from thousands of pages of internal corporate documents released during lawsuits brought by farmers, groundskeepers and everyday gardeners suing Monsanto over allegations that exposure to Roundup caused them to develop cancer, as well as documents obtained through public record requests in a years-long investigation by US Right to Know public interest research group. The pesticide industry is not just following the footsteps of big tobacco and big oil, they co-wrote the playbook. From their attacks on Silent Spring, author Rachel Carson 60 years ago, to the recent Monsanto-led assault on the cancer researchers of World Health Organization, said Stacey Malkin, lead author of the report and co-founder of US The Right to Know. I don't trust the WHO. This case study provides an important window into how one company worked with many partners across the pesticide and processed food industries, academia, PR firms, and various front groups to sell the world on toxic pesticide. These disinformation tactics are critical to understand because they've been used to push entwined myths that we need pesticides to feed the world and that they're totally safe, said author and advocate Anne LBRY, who contributed to the report. Well, I can tell you right now, I'm growing a garden without any pesticides at all, or herbicides. Just a bit of, what do you call it? Dynamic lifter, which is cow poo, chook poo, and stuff like that every now and then. Takeaways include Monsanto employees ghost-wrote scientific papers on the safety of glyphosate and strategized how to discredit journalists raising concerns about it. Major universities, including UC Davis and the University of Florida, played a significant role in legitimizing and amplifying pesticide industry product defense efforts. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Cornell University, and American Academy for the Advancement of Science, one of the world's most prestigious science organizations, also provided essential aid and covered for pesticide industry propaganda. Key Monsanto-connected front groups that led attacks on scientists and journalists, Genetic Literacy Project and American Council on Science and Health, frequently push industry messaging to the top of Google News search. Pesticide industry propaganda is a huge business. 7 of the front groups named in Monsanto's document spent $76 million over a 5-year period to push corporate disinformation, including attacks on scientists. 6 industry trade groups named in Monsanto's public relations documents spent more than $1.3 billion over the same 5-year period, including for public relations and lobbying to influence regulation over glyphosate. Pesticide companies fight tooth and nail to keep their toxic products on the market, and the public pays for their deceit with our health and our lives, said Kendra Klein, PhD, Deputy Director of Science with Friends of the Earth, who also contributed to the report. Meanwhile, the rampant use of toxic pesticides is unravelling the web of life as bees, birds, and other critical biodiversity face increasing threats of extinction. The silent spring that Rachel Carson warned of 6 decades ago is here. And not to mention that they have a revolving door, like I said before, with the FDA. Monsanto goes in, they send one of their employees in to apply for a job at the FDA. They get their job. They do what they have to do. When they leave and go back to Monsanto, they get huge pay rises and bonuses. Julie Kelly said, who on Fox News has covered Whitmer Fednapping hoax or all the FBI informants in January 6 or demanded records from Pelosi, USCP or Muriel Bowser's office? Where's the scrutiny of January 6 committee or cover-up of what happened that day? Non-existent. News, not Tucker, okay? Tucker Carlson, he is decent. But, yeah, all the rest of Fox News, it's the same as Sky News Australia here. There are 1 or 2 good reporters. The rest are just, they just go whatever way the wind blows. Doesn't really matter to them. YNWA 2.0 said, you know how Daniel Andrews MP promised he was going to make everything free? This is what free means. It's all good, though, because he built some level crossings. Okay, let's have a listen. This guy is pretty good.
What's happening in Victoria? Windfall gains tax. What's that? So when you've got an agricultural property on the edge of town, it gets rezoned as residential and the value of that land goes up. That's going to be taxed at 50%. So what's that mean? Your land is originally worth $1 million and it gets rezoned. And the price is, the value is now $3 million. That's the value. So $3 million minus the original $1 million is $2 million. So that's going to get taxed now at 50%. So that's $1 million you got to pay the government. But what if I don't sell? Doesn't matter. You got 30 years to pay that tax of 50%. And if you sell, you got 30 days to pay. Oh, and by the way, it includes interest. And it's actually separate to capital gains tax. So probably another thing you got to pay. And when's it coming? 1st of July.
There you go, Australia. Up shit creek without a paddle. Ian Miles Chong said, this is a state of the US military, zero discipline. Ready for this one?
Kelly, be brave.
I'd like to see her doing this during a war that she's fighting. Stand there and scream at people and see what happens. Seriously, you'd be shot dead in 2 seconds. In fact, get women out of the army. Sorry, that might be a really, like, feminists aren't going to like that, but get women out of the army. Seriously. Apparently, Elton John, he's quitting. He's quitting Twitter because of misinformation. Also, Elton John, get vaccinated to eradicate the pandemic. I said, I think he wants people to follow him, not on your life. No way, Jose. James Melville said, this is how we start to take back control. Localism. Good night. Shop local, eat local, spend local, enjoy local. Start the trend. Support the local businesses who support the area where you live, work, and play. All small businesses. It's a great idea. It's a way to start to get back at them. No risk, no reward, said they have security guards preventing baby W from leaving the ward. Court-sanctioned medical tyranny in New Zealand, taken from his parents, now under the guardianship of medical professionals until the procedure is complete. Precedent set, hell is coming. So in New Zealand, the parents who refused the blood transfusion, the people who had the jab, speak out after court places baby W in care. How devastating would that be? Kate said, go green, they said. AIGA said, when people try to act in environmentally friendly ways, they often, in fact, do further harm to the environment. Look at that. Just great. This is what you got to look forward to with solar. No more nice trees and views and land. Just this muck. Seriously. Yuck. I can't imagine anything worse. Can you? Gee, God, what are they doing? They're killing it. They're killing the land. This is insanity. Jeez. You know, like a nuclear power station or a coal power station would not take up that much. Look at the destruction of it. The winds, the hail. Not so good, is it? All those people who want green energy. I hope they're watching. It's great. And then you can't even recycle the Lovely, isn't it? Okay, is there any more? Okay, Andy, no, exclusive. Barry doesn't name too many names, but the head of Twitter's strategic response team, when secret actions were taken to stifle conservative accounts, happened under Jeff Carlton, who worked for both the CIA and FBI. He just deleted his LinkedIn, but I have the archive. Jeff C., senior manager, Twitter, Marine vet, United States Naval Academy, former intelligence officer, transitioned to managing high-profile content moderation and customer support escalations in social media trust and safety, head of Twitter's strategic response team, U.S. Navy Academy graduate with 14 years in the Marine Corps, leading XFN intelligence teams in data analysis, strategy development and operational planning, team builder and problem solver in dynamic high-pressure resource scarce environments from the southern Philippines to Iraq to the Korean Peninsula. There you go. Expert communicator whose briefings and writings drove cabinet and White House level decision-making during special assignments to the CIA and FBI. Okay, what's this? Oh, don't tell me it's another thread. I'm nearly 2 hours into the news. I don't think... Okay, I'm going to have to... Sorry, guys. I'm flicking through it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to bookmark this one. My goodness. There's a lot of news. Okay, Dinesh D'Souza said, don't expect Brittany Griner to start singing the national anthem. Her refusal to do so, indeed her anti-American stance in general, is why Biden picked her over the Marine to bring home. Biden, like Obama, values anti-Americanism over traditional American patriotism. Lovely. So, that's... Oh, sorry, guys. So that's what we've got for news, 2 hours of it. And I still didn't get all the way through it. Oh, my goodness. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back through the comments. I'm not going to read all the comments this time, guys, because I've gone so long on the news. But what I will do is just go through. Alex said, yeah, sounds like they made a mistake about the house once. Still praying you get it, Hev. Yeah, well, I don't trust it. I don't know. So I'm just waiting. I'm going to assume that I don't have it, and if I do get it, that'll be fine. He's doing well. We had a scare, but all... Oh, good stuff, Menacing Muskrat. Excellent. Hey, Lanazi, how you going? Oh, Shannon, God love you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. How's the Riverland going? Are they flooded or... They did a week ago, didn't they? Menacing Muskrat said, just so glad he's home safe and sound. I'm not letting him out of my sight again, lol. Oh, good. Okay. Hey, Robin, how you going? Carol, Deb, Alex, everyone, David. Jim, how you going? Who else have we got? Oh, hey, Wheezy, how you going? Long time no see. Are you going live? Oh, you're probably gone. You're probably already gone. Are you going live tomorrow, Wheezy, if you're still here? Alex said, no way, as cold as some parts of the world. I know, pretty chilly for the UK. Debbie said, cold enough for me, Alex, not even winter yet. Jim said, can't stay, just wanted to show support. Thank you, guys. Now J6 compared to the Civil War, it was 9/11. Oh, thumbs it up, folks, if you can. If not, thumbs it down. I don't care, one way or the other. David said, I missed the winter word out. But it's early here, of course. I expect I could handle an English summer still. Might do that one day. But don't expect me to stay till winter. Yep, Jim said, where we go when we go on? And Alex said, worldwide, that's it. I'm just trying to go through the comments. Luna said, the Wild West times would have been so much more peaceful, yeah, than what we have now. Look at the crime and everything we've got now. Like, oh, seriously. I said thousands of uniformed cops will be slaughtered there. You were sorry. Menacing Muskrat said, yes, minus 35 degrees Celsius. Oh, my goodness. That is bloody cold. Bloody cold. Hey, Geoloft, how you going? Selena, how you going? Who else we got? David Dorr, how you going? And David Morgan, how you going? And Luna, how you going? And I'm Kai, how you going? If I've missed anyone, I'm sorry. It's been a really long It feels like a really long life because I've just spent nearly 2 hours reading the news. I am Kai said, can't stay, but we'll be watching Wives at Home. Got a surprise card. Oh, lovely. Alex said they used to build houses as standard with fireplaces, but I guess that's another way of controlling with heating and now how expensive it is. Yes, they used to build all houses, even here in Australia, with fireplace. And now they tried to bring out a rule a few years ago that you cannot have a fireplace if you build a house now. I think people don't care because some people are still building houses with fireplaces in them. Okay. Still going through the comments. Oh, got a bit of a runny nose. I've had a hell of a week, guys. Nursing Muskrat says something big's going to happen on December the 18th. Yep, Shannon's been sending me floody stuff. He has, yes. Ah, and Planet Alex is here. Good on you, Alex. And Judy's here. How you going, Judy? And we have farmed for thousands of years. It now impacts the environment. Then what has changed? Is it the chemical fertilizers and pesticides? Maybe the slurry used on some farms. That's why I say grow your own. Look at from what they want to use as fertilizer, right? Down to God knows what they're putting in our food anyway. Seriously, I'm growing my own. I don't even know what I've got growing anymore because my little seedling tray tipped over and I had it written down in order what they were. But when I tipped over, they all fell out and went everywhere. I tried putting them back in. I didn't know what was what. So I've planted them in the garden and I'm going to have to wait till they fruit and flower to see what they are. Because a lot of them are like, I think there's a watermelon, a zucchini, a cucumber, and possibly either pumpkin or rock melon. I am not sure anymore. But things are growing. So there you go. Menacing, I hope so and pray it's a big good thing for a change. Yeah. Darren said, why are so many of these nonces working with kids? Because that's where they head for straight away. Carol said that Joe Bruno is sick. Yeah, oh my God, what's wrong with these sickos? Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. How disgusting. And it's not a phobia that we're scared of these people. It's just disgust. It's plain, outright disgust. Yep, what the fuck are they teaching? This is schools, yeah. Yep. Yes, with kids. They've been talking with kids about this. Shannon said his head looks like a novelty-shaped butt plug. This man should be jailed, period. I think so. I think he should be investigated and, looked at really, really closely because then they'd probably put him in jail. Alex, all in all, not too bad. I'm a workhorse, nothing I can't handle. However, keep the wax on hand and the surfboard at the ready just in case you need to cut and run. Yeah, wood chippers for pedos, yep. People need to take their children out of schools if they can, or at least know exactly what's going on at the school. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And with this type of thing going on, people wonder why I want to homeschool my kids. I would, everyone, it doesn't matter who you are, I would be taking my kids out of school. Those children will be impaired for life having listened to this shit when they should be playing outside. Exactly. Shannon said he literally reminds me of Mr. Potato Head. Yeah, leave our children alone. See, we've got to step up now. This is where we've got to step up and say something and shame them for it. Shame them for it. It's the only way. It's the only thing that's going to work. Out to lunch said big nap room. Well, if they're working around the clock, they kind of need those beds there. You know what I mean? So if someone does get tired, just wants, say, an hour or two, or just needs an hour or two, they can. Shannon said that potato needs to be mashed. Delia said, when I was in school, sex ed talked about boys and girls, their bodies, and girls have periods, not actual sex. Yeah. Yeah, but then didn't they start bringing in how to apply a condom and on a cucumber or something? And now they're just going even further now. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Menacing Muskrat said, Carol, pretty sad as he runs up the stairs and retreats to the school for protection. Menacing Muskrat said, too many boosters, what a cop. Yeah, that cop was an idiot. He really was an idiot. He didn't even know what he was doing by the look of it. He didn't know why he was trying to question the bloke, or what was he trying to charge him with? Like, seriously, that officer was either drunk or high on something. I don't know. Alex said these people are drunk with alleged power. Yep, exactly. Drunk on power and too many boosters, you reckon? Well, I said, everything you say or do, your thoughts are being recorded in real time from the Lord Almighty and written in the books of judgment. Geoloff said, Alex, you know I can resist the urge to run the waves most of the time, but sometimes the fever is too much to fight. I get tunnel vision for fun in the sun from time to time. Yeah, the cop does look impaired. He does look as something off. Yeah, I don't know. Well, one of them. Alex said you have to have some downtime, Geoloff, especially if you work so hard. I know Missing Muskrat. Did you see the pants was wearing? Freaking weirdo. Yeah, I'll pray for divine intervention as soon as possible too. Maybe the Twitter files will be the straw that break the camel's back. I think it's the beginning of their end. And I think they thought they'd won in the was it House, Senate? I don't know. They thought they'd won, but there's things happening still that it's questionable. Shannon said Rod Stewart pushes jobs for people to attend his concert. Oh, no. Yeah, there's been kids dropping here, as in the days of Noah, and lots of some Sodom and Gomorrah. How many more are they going to expose in drips? I'm ready for the Band-Aid to be ripped off so we can start healing. I know. That's the problem when we're already awake. We have to wait through the people waking up. I don't understand why Elon doesn't just release everything. Why release a little time, make a show out of it, says Daly. I don't know. Maybe it's too much for normies to, I don't know. I wish they'd hurry up, but look, it's got to go the way it goes. Darren said, who would go to a Rod Stewart concert anyway, Shannon? Yeah. Darren said, imagine an old grandpa wearing bits and singing about how sexy he is. Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, yeah. It must be climate change. Yeah, Shannon. Truth is trickling out because I think MSM knows just a matter of time before the whole lot comes out. I wish it would come out faster. Out to lunch, said Horn Guy, right? Me too, Alex. Fanoni of the Capitol Cops. Okay, there you go. Actor, they said. GLF said Rod Stewart was pretty damn good 30 years ago. They're all going. Yeah, and Roddy baby. The trickle erode the structure of the dam. The trickle will turn into a flood. That's what's going to happen, okay? Oh, you reckon they have? They've taken some sort of deal. Could be. Drip, drip, drip until the flood. Gen X, hey, how you going? Fauci's daughter worked at Twitter too. Wow. Where am I up to? Oh, God love you, Deb. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, climate change is killing everyone, even though it's not killing us. But hey, yeah, you know, it's just killing all these people all of a sudden. Rumble, Ricardo Bossi, Australian Special Forces. Oh, good on you, Menacing Muskrat. I'm going to have to catch up. I heard GN News blames Strap on the lockdown. I don't like him. I like him, but don't trust him. I like Pauline Hanson. Yeah, they're all over the place. Yeah, so there's that link again. Nice soggy mask full of bacteria. Xenotron. How you going, Xenotron? Hate how the crooks are given time to cover their tracks before the investigation starts. Yeah, but they have it all anyway. Remember? Odysee asked Press Secretary Cringe Jean-Pierre about the trade for arms dealer. She said, you know, his treatment from Russia was unfair. Bring him home, but not a US Marine. That's it, yeah. Those that do witchcraft and practice magic, your final destination is a lake of fire. Some people want to control everything about their lives, though. Someone I know said as much, but I don't think they understand what complete control would look like. Yeah, exactly. Who's taking the pics of these people? I don't know. It's interesting. Who's taking the pics? Yeah, the other sick people. There you go. Okay. Liz is laughing. Liz said, yeah, she said clutch. That's so clutch. And I'm like, that's like that. What was it? The movie, was it Mean Girls or something, where she was trying to make fetch the new saying? And it's like, you bloody idiot. I couldn't believe that. Oh, my God. Alex said, I used to love a meeting when I worked in an office. Yeah, because you just get to sit there and not do anything for a while. Just talk. Oh, so hard of a cue day. That's so clutch to perform in dire situations under pressure. Trick is to keep it going as long as possible. Yeah, eating all day. That's all there was in that stupid thing. Yeah, release the marine instead. I remember getting up at 4, herding 200 cows, milking them, shoveling the whiz, and feeding the babies all before breakfast. See, that's my dream. That's a pretty sad dream. No, it's not. It's a good dream to have. But like 200 cows, but getting milk from your cow in the morning and herding them up, whatever you got to do, David said, so glad I know how to hunt, fish, trap, and garden. I feel like I'm going to have more people who want to be friends soon. I think a lot of people will. Baby calves, said Xenotron. Sounds good if true, Musket, said Shannon. Xenotron said, I'm retired now. I paid my dues. Xenotron said, didn't the baby die yesterday? Oh, no, don't tell me. Did he? No. Jacinda Ardern should be done for murder. That's it. Now I'm 6 minutes behind, said Shannon. Ardern needs to be arrested like yesterday. Yep. That is disgusting. I didn't want to watch the video of his mum crying because I would have mate, seriously. I can't believe it. That's just sick. I saw something on Bitchute but didn't want to know the details. Too tragic for words. Judy said that mask is disturbing. 2 times speed. Shannon, catch up. Alex said his dad let it slip on a video earlier. Med kidnapping, yeah. Yeah. I agree with your eyes. God. Have chipmunk. Oh, dear. Roll 2 times chipmunks and muskrats. Who cares about her at work? No, just what they like, their work. Compared to normal people's work, that's not work. I don't know what that's like a holiday. It's not work. Judy says, seen in New Zealand, parents are losing custody of their children because, oh, no. No man left behind doesn't mean anything to these traders. These have zero integrity. I think Baby Will is okay. He got the operation, came through it well. I don't think he got jab blood either. His dad let it slip earlier, but not sure. I hope not. I hope not. I hope he didn't die. Shannon said, had a Christmas pageant and fireworks yesterday. Had to watch from work. Anyone on this channel watching, I advise you to ask Jesus into your heart, believe what he's done, shed his precious blood for you, and repent to get saved before it's too late. Robert's laughing. Where's Circle Back Girl? Because she ain't no circle back girl. She ain't no circle back girl. David Morgan said, we refer to those types as plastic people in the 60s. Dang, they've been breeding a lot since then. The thing is that most of the left are going to breed themselves into oblivion. They won't be breeding because they're like a lot of them are doing weird things, with their bodies. So they're not going to be, they're not going to be reproducing too much. Harry's a pussy whip. I used to like him. Yeah, I know. He just sat there and looked while she was insulting the Queen. Like, if it was my grandmother, right, regardless of whether she's a queen or not, if it was my grandmother and someone did that, I'd be slapping them. Maybe not slapping them, but at least walking out. Depends. Depends on who they are as to whether you slap them or not. Alex said maybe it's one of their children, Harry and Meghan. Yeah, but are they old enough? That sounded like an older child, like I don't know. Senatron said, Alex, I hope it was fake news. Shouldn't have read anything. Now I'm worried about that. Spoke too soon. Shannon said, my 4x4 overheated last week on the way to doctor's appointment. Fixed now only cost $1,379. So if you notice, I haven't been donating as much to Hev. Oh, really? Oh, wow. Shannon, that is a lot. But that's what's happening now. You want to get your car fixed, like seriously, it costs you a lot of money. Clone malfunction, Megan and Heaven sent, that was child in the background. Yeah, that was, I thought maybe it was the TV. But then I thought, no, in the beginning you don't hear any of that. So and is it their child or what's going on? Because that child was nearly screaming at one point. Shannon said, Harry's going to kill me, lol. Harry's going, please kill me, lol. Yeah, it looks like he is. Delia said, I definitely would if I could, Shannon. Alex said, the video I saw both his parents saying he got through it okay, hoping he gets renewed. Oh, I hope so. Just a giant far lap heart. Gutter snipe. I've been snipe, hun. Darren said, homeless Brits have been thrown out of their temporary accommodation onto the street so the invading dinghy parade can be housed. They're doing it all over the world. It takes a lowbrow to make demands on someone's hospitality. Carol Fest thing she did at the palace was to make demands on what tiara she should wear. Oh, my God. Instead of graciously accepting what was offered. Out to lunch, said I've been snipe hunting before. Oh, he's well from his mum and dad. Oh, good stuff. Thank God for that. I didn't want to watch them taking the child away because I knew I'd bawl my bloody eyes out. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. I already know how I would feel, and that's bad enough. Rabbits were always my main quarry. Used to hunt, sometimes foxes when the gamekeeper handed out a few SSG for the barrel. Hey, Cynthia, how you doing? Okay, where am I? Yeah, Alex said I was relieved when I saw, especially after seeing the heartbreaking video of his mum crying when they all piled into the hospital room to remove him. I couldn't watch that. Robert said, does that mean no postcards of The Rock? Yeah, Uluru apparently postcards, not unless you got permission. We've had Hummer Super Snipe wagon at the vintage and sports car garage. It was used to trail the race car to the track. You don't see many of them nowadays, just gutter snipes. Yes, Menacing Muskrat. Remember the baby bump pillow fell out of its dress? Yeah, I don't think it's their child. Oh, thank you, Alex. That was the last word I had seen, RE Baby Will. The outer light's been keeping us up to date regarding Baby Will. Yeah, the outer light's pretty good, channel. David said it's a good one out to lunch. Probably won't even make 30 degrees today, so perfect riding weather. We're getting 19 degrees Celsius today. Any news on the house? I got another unsuccessful application, like email saying that I was unsuccessful. I don't know if it's real or not because it's from the same site the last one came from when they said that was a mistake. And when I rang them the other day, they said they're still making up their mind. So who knows? I'm going to assume I don't have it until they tell me I've got it, and then I can jump through the roof. If I do get it, I'll be straight on here to tell you guys. Don't you worry. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong. Western Sydney, further actually. Central Tablelands. Yeah, that'll do. Alex said, I'll see if I could find that too, as this is just they could possibly do to any child, just signs. Yep. That's what their plan is. That's what the ultimate plan was as well. Oh, who's that? Menacing Muskrat said we have lots of horse poop, Heaven sent. Yeah, I'll take some of that. I couldn't get it here, though. Pay to play. Okay. Part 3 of Twitter Files is about the Trump ban. We need more popcorn. I've got to read part 2. I might have to come back tomorrow again, guys. to do the rest of it. Yes, Jacinta Ardern is a Soros puppet. Just wondering if a politician's pay rise is actually a corporate bonus, which is why we can't stop them. Australia's a corporation. Yep. There are 2 videos we've seen regarding the update. Nothing since. Hopefully we'll get another update when he's back with mum and dad. Xanatron said, I'm not sure who these people think they are. How dare they so blatantly rob us? Fake economy. Yep. Well, the 3rd Twitter drop going on now. The banning of Trump. Oh, really? Yeah, that's context would help. It's the same with the cop in the beginning. Like, the context would help, but from what we see, who knows? I don't think women should be in the military anyway, because there is, I just don't think they should be there. They're too emotional compared to men. Men are more logical. Not all men and not all women, but most of the time. And I wouldn't like to fight on the front line. My God. A quickening, menacing muskrat, nothing military about her behaviour. No, they're supposed to be highly disciplined. Very highly disciplined. Alex said, I need to get rid of all the celebs. Yeah, and the mainstream news should just go on strike. And I think everyone will be fine. Seriously. Whatever they're doing, it was all done years ago. It's already here, set up and operational. We're only just finding out about it. Exactly. Exactly. Sorry, guys, I'm not hitting all the comments. Hey, Kat, how you going? Oh, God, love you, Faith. Thank you so much, guys. Hey, Randy, how you going? Most of your modest circles put away, getting your ice bike ready. Judy said, blessings and prayers to everyone. I need to call it a day. Yep, nerves shot. Fair enough. Have I put your top on my embroidery screen to start hand embroider? Oh, God, love you. Thank you. And I got called up to the mailbox the other day for, like, spam mail, like stuff they put in your letterbox. Rubbish mail. And I'm like, you bastards. Don't send me a message when there's spam in there. I don't want to know. Oh, someone write me a letter. Send me a letter. Faith said, good night all. God bless this old girl has turned in for the night. I know, it's a bit that way. The Queen got bitten by a whitetail. She looked like she had a golf ball in her mouth. And Deb again. Oh, God love you, Deb. Thank you. Randy's smoking. Hey, Carl, how you going? Okay. I think I've got to go. Liz, how you going? I've got to go. Have we prefer the news from you? I could listen to you all day and often do on my weekends. I honestly think that listening to you every weekend, my stress is lowered and I'm a lot happier. That's good, guys. That's good. If I can help in any way, I will try. Okay, where are we? Oh, Timmy, thank you. God love you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Hello, everyone. Hello, Hev. It's been such an insanely long week. I'm glad it's Friday. I've got to tell you what I've put my own eyes on regarding the spirit of the age. Let's say you can read between the lines. Deb said, I'm so glad oh, yeah, when they finish school. I've got grandkids, though, that go to school. And I'm like, oh, no. Can I take them out of school? Can I teach them? The Nazi said Elon has to have lawyers check it out carefully so he doesn't release anything the wrong way and get sued. Yeah. And everyone's saying, way to go, Timmy. God love you. If he releases it, it'll take ages to get through. Getting a report on everything will help prosecutors form a case. I'd expect the original files to be made available. Randy's going to light another one. Mine's from the backyard. Forgot what strain. I'm trying. I can't even pop a seed of that, you know, like, what the hell am I doing? Lisa, how you going? Yeah, that's it, Randy. Smoke local. Allows a concise account of corruption involving social media, FBI, and political players. Wonder when the CIA is already implicated now. MJ said clueless. Hey, MJ, how you going? Okay, trying to just get through. I'm way back in the comments. Am I? Lots of tomatoes, peppers, and cucumbers. You go. Oh, yep, raspberries. I've got strawberries as well. I did have raspberries at one of the places I lived, but they went berserk. But it was beautiful eating them. Darren said, I would have thought clutch would refer to something you disengage from, so modern terms it suits. Homegrown anything is so satisfying, yep. MJ said, I love it when she sings. Niagara fruit is the best, and Randy said, I like a laugh. Mr. Smiggles, muskrat. Indeed, homegrown spuds are pretty good too. Yes, they are. Darren said, I prefer Circle Back Girl to the Angry Box ticker. Dealey said, MJ, I love it when Hev sings too. Okay, how about I go out in a song? Kat said, the reptilian queen is not like your grandmother. Is not sweet like your grandmother. Yeah, I know. But if regardless, if you're family, you'd stick up for your family. No. MJ said, I tried sweet potatoes. Some little bugger kept eating the vine shoots. Frustrating. That's what I've put coffee, right? I bought a whole jar of coffee just to sprinkle around the outside of my garden. And I ran out of beer, so what I did was I put white wine vinegar in those containers, and I think the smell is so strong that snails and slugs won't go anywhere near my garden, and including my cats. They don't really want to go in there. So I'm just wondering if wine would do the same thing, whether red, white wine, would it do the same thing? Would the snails go in there and drown? Xenotron said, I'm temporarily broke. My car just cost $2,400. I did my best not to be upset. I hope I didn't get ripped off. Oh, my God. I'd freak too, Xenotron, if my car cost me $2,400. Sorry. Dealey said, David agreed, you haven't had a real spud till you have homegrown spuds. Yes, I would agree with that. David said, Harry should have worn his trousers and pulled Megan's head in when she made petulant demands on her host. Gutter snipes do. Randy said, broke clutch on one of my motorcycles. $2,000. Oh, my goodness. Celine Dion, RE, stiff body syndrome, has the same symptoms, very much the same as Kuru, just saying. Ooh. Fixed it needs tyres now. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, exactly, Alex. Vehicles are becoming more and more expensive, but that's because they want us to own nothing and be happy, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Celine's gross. No sympathy for her at all. Night, David. Yeah, that's questionable. Yep. Oh, and then I got to blow out lols and broke my tooth. It comes in threes. Oh, dear. Darren said, that's always in the back of your mind. They really have to replace the headlight for a blown bulb. Yeah, John Denver. Take me home, country roads, to the place I belong, Central Tablelands in Australia. Take me home, country road. Oh, dear. Anyway. Alex said, leaving them to fly freely in their private jets and drive their gas guzzle is one rule of them, and that's all, and all that, yeah. Xenotron said, Darren, put your old car in. They want to bring it to brand new standards, saying you can't drive until this happens. Ooh. Is that why it costs so much? Alex, that's why they build new homes without any parking. Yeah, they did that here. Kat said, I'll keep thinking you have, and that might help. It worked for me recently. I found the perfect little house. Oh. Yeah, I'm just trying not to think about it, I think, because I get too excited and then I'll have my hopes dashed. Like when I got that second email, it was like worse than the first one. I was like, oh, man, really? Then I went, nah, I don't trust that. I don't trust it. So I rang them and they said, well, we haven't made a decision yet, so I don't know. Nursing Muskrat said, go research Celine Dion wedding pictures. It was a ceremony. Ooh. Oh, Celine visited Epstein Island, did she? Carol said, isn't John Denver allegedly one of the Vince Vincent Fuchsias. I don't know. Yeah, I thought so too. Darren said Muskrat. I thought stiff person syndrome was reserved for dead people. Oh. Celine now has a disease that will eventually render her a statue. Maybe they'll all end up like that. Yeah, then we can pour like, what do you call it? Pour the clay stuff over them and just make them a statue. Cover them up and bury them. Don't put them on display anywhere. Kat said, glad to hear about the downfall of Celine. Like death becomes her, they turn stiff and brittle. There you go. There's a link to it. Menacing Muskrat, thank you. 7-ish maybe Janatron in the new 50. Yeah, sounds like a teenage boy's disease. Oh, dear. Great live. I'm 71 as far as I'm concerned. That's the new 17. Yeah, just turn it around. I'm 25. Yay, go me. Oh. Thumbs up. Actually, 25 was a good age for me, I think. I'd like to be 25 again. Maybe. You feel as good as you think, then I'm 24 forever. Don't forget to hit the likes, folks. The ex-FBI guy that delayed the release of Twitter files deleted files too, so there's much worse to come. Yep, exactly. And Jack's turn's coming. D-Lee thumbs up before she entered the chat. Got my motorcycle license when I was 16, Randy. Yeah, I'm a bikeaholic and no, I don't need help. Astrid, how you going? Davis said, hit the 10th today when I got here. Alex said, I was going to say Kuru Muskrat, but I didn't know that. They all look like death warmed up and they aren't getting their supply of Adreno. Yeah. Yeah, Kathy Griffin's another one. The only way I could get my driver's license was if I could parallel park our John Deere between straw bales. They all look haggard lately. Yeah, they do. Got your car and motorcycle the same day. Oh, yeah, and Ellen as well. She doesn't look good. Davis said, my room is almost finished putting my Ford Fairmont back together. It's going on Gumtree for a pretty then. Needs something older. Replace the battery on your electric car. Shannon said, White House tainted their adrenochrome. Yeah, I heard that. I'm nearly there, I think. None left her rusted away. It's a sweet ride, Randy, but worth too much. That's money could go and buy shovelhead build. Carol said, I'd like to be 35 again, lol. Yeah, it's not a bad age, actually. Dave said, Hev's catching up again. Need a big comment storm. But know what I know now. Yeah, I'd like to be young and know what I know now. That would be just perfect. Menacing Muskrat said, remember the man that could run V10 off H2O was killed shortly after? Yes. Randy said, had Ninja at drag strip, ran a bunch of 10s and a couple of 11 seconds run. And 40s have sucked, says MJ. I don't blame you. Okay, guys, I'm going to go and I will be back tomorrow, but whether it's the same time or an hour later, I'm not sure yet. Okay? So have a good one. Have a good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. And I'll talk to you soon. And the world's gone mad and we all know it. Okay.
For the better this time.
Whoa.
I thought I would never be fine. I strive just to say I'm alright. And for the first time in a long time, I'm alright. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I'm not falling. I'll push all my chips and call all in. I'll bet on myself, you keep stalling. I hear destiny and it's calling. I'll keep my head up high through the downs and lows, and we're all going life. Still nobody knows but I'ma choose what's right and take what comes and goes. And ain't no one in life holding me back no more. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. Back a year ago.